A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, everything from famous criminals to accidents in the home will be covered tomorrow when the staff of NBC's Weekday brings you another day of informative and entertaining listening. And back again to greet you as new hostess is charming Virginia Graham, well loved by every radio and television fan. There'll be big guest stars, too, headliners in every field. Mel Torme, singing sensation. Gladys Cooper, prominent Broadway actress, and many others. Treat yourself to the best daytime entertainment with NBC's Weekday tomorrow. And now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight's story, Hello Tomorrow. After the Third Atomic War, when the Earth was a mass of red radioactive dust, a handful of men and women went deep underground in the struggle for survival. A new civilization was built deep underground, a civilization which must keep a ceaseless vigil against the deadly gamma rays which filter down through the Earth. A civilization where the prime consideration is the genetic survival of the race. It is to this civilization in the year of our Lord, 4195, that we take you now.
Professor Lois Burton?
Yes.
I have a call from the Director of Emotional Stability for the Third Oblong. Go ahead, sir. Hello, darling.
Hello, dear. How is the Director of Emotional Stability? My, how impressive that sounds.
Don't joke, dear. You never know who may be listening.
Sorry. How are you? You sound tired.
Well, we've had some bad cases. Mostly frantic mothers who insist on imparting their feelings to children. I suspect it's chromosomes affected by gamma ray leakage from the surface, but the head of the psychotechnic division says they're glandular cases. But that isn't why I called. I have good news.
What is it?
The genetic board has approved our application for marriage.
So soon?
Our chromosomes tested perfect. We can marry any time we want. As a geneticist, you should know that our offspring should be 90 percentile of perfection.
I know.
Well, what's the matter? You are happy about it, aren't you?
Of course. Terribly happy.
I'm coming right over to the lab.
You'll have to give me some time.
What's the trouble?
No trouble. You know that genetic survey I've been working on?
What about it?
Well, I've finally gotten permission to study an actual living case, a specimen of imperfect genetic transmission.
Really?
They're bringing him, or it, up from the condemned cages on the lower level.
You will be careful.
There's nothing to be afraid of. The specimen is XJ12. It's been studied before many times and is quite well trained. Oh, there's my door signal. I'll have to hang up, darling. See you later. Yes?
Professor Burton?
Yes.
I'm from the Phylogenic Institute.
Oh, you brought my specimen?
May I come in?
By all means. Oh, how...
Horrible? It all depends on your viewpoint. I happen to have a twisted leg. My parents were genetically unsound.
But then you...
Yes, I am specimen XJ12.
I see.
I hope you aren't shocked.
No stable person permits feelings to enter into his work. I will admit to surprise. I was expecting something a little more abnormal.
Well, I try to be as abnormal as possible. It pays off. The Phylogenic Institute allows me out of the genetic cages ever so often so I can breathe the pure air of the upper levels and mingle with the genetically perfect.
You seem quite well educated.
I spent the first years of my life here in the upper levels.
How is that possible?
As a small child, my mother concealed me from the director of heredity. My mother actually, dreadful word, loved me.
That would explain your obviously low threshold of emotional control.
If you choose to call it that. You seem to be struggling to repress a few feelings yourself.
We will confine ourselves to the impersonal aspects of our work.
As you please.
I shall require you as a demonstration for a lecture I'm delivering to one of my classes tomorrow.
At your service.
Sit here, please. Grip these electrodes tightly. I'm going to calibrate your electrochemical tension.
I'm quite familiar with the procedure. I realize that as an imperfect I am expendable, but I should hate to be electrocuted.
The charge is not lethal. Plus 15 surface tension.
You know, you have beautiful hair.
Plus 12 at a depth of 4 centimeters. My hair meets minimal requirements for the genetic code.
Lovely blue eyes. Crystal clear.
Plus 10 at 7 centimeters.
Pretty. A perfect woman. Lovely expressive hands. And a heart of stone. Like all the rest of you, perfect survival types.
Shut up.
Oh, could it be you do have feelings?
I seem to sense an air of emotional tension.
It's nothing, dear. This is the specimen.
You, specimen. Tell this dolt who I am, Lois.
This is the Director of Emotional Stability for the Third Oblong. You will address him as Mr. Director.
Mr. Director.
This creature seems quite impertinent.
He's only a specimen, darling.
Well, use him and ship him back to the cages. He's probably radioactive.
Attention, attention. The next demonstration will be conducted by Professor Lois Burton of the Institute of Genetics. Her topic, the probability of radioactive damage in the chromosome heredity of imperfect non-survival types. Professor Burton.
As you know, most imperfects are destroyed at birth. However, those who for one reason or another manage to survive are segregated in cages on the lower level for study purposes. The specimen we have today has been trained to tell in his own words about the factors in his upbringing. You will have to forgive his immature emotional control factor. He is, as you can see, quite different. Specimen XJ12. You will proceed, please.
Thank you. My mother was a psychotechnician in the Fifth Oblong. My father was an historian specializing in the records of pre-atomic surface culture. In the earthquake of 2170, apparently some hard radiation filtered down through the tunnels and penetrated the Fifth Oblong. The effect on my hereditary factors is quite apparent in this twisted leg. My father taught me in the last days before he was executed that every human personality is born with certain inalienable natural rights. The rights to have feelings, the right to mature, and above all, the right to be different from every other living organism. Because it cannot be otherwise, I submit to you, distinguished students, that the attempt by this society to abridge these rights is a violation of nature. I submit that the imperfects, the mutants, those who are different, have as much right to exist and be free as you. And I say break open the cages.
Stop him!
Give us back the right to be individuals.
Stop him!
Oh!
Perhaps That will teach you. Professor Burton, take this specimen back to your laboratory and confine him.
Hold still while I bandage your head.
Oh.
You'll be all right.
I suppose you detest me for getting you into trouble.
I don't detest you.
What?
I don't know why, but as you spoke, something began to stir in me.
Tell me what you feel. If I moved you, then I must have moved the others, some of them at least.
For some reason, I took pride in what you were doing, seeing you stand up against them. Why do you look at me like that?
I can't help it.
I wish you wouldn't. You're only an imperfect, you know. Please.
My name is Orrin.
Please.
Say it. Orrin.
Orrin.
Again.
Orrin.
Lois.
Orrin.
Lois.
How touching.
Walter.
I've been listening for some time.
Walter, how could you?
In my capacity as Director of Emotional Stability, it is my duty.
What are you going to do?
Specimen XJ12 will be disposed of quite systematically by the state. For the good of the state, for the good of the genetic code, and in the name of emotional stability.
Walter, I have to talk to you.
Go right ahead.
Walter, you mustn't destroy him.
The specimen? Why not?
He's emotionally unstable. You have to expect irrational behavior.
Aren't you forgetting something, my dear? That you were responding in much the same manner? Or had you forgotten? You see, I'm having him liquidated for your sake. He has an upsetting effect on you.
Then send him back to the cages. But don't kill him.
You speak of destroying an inferior creature as if it was something unethical.
Walter, please, for my sake.
I understand that you have entered a plea for postponement of marriage at the Records Bureau.
Yes. I was too upset to go through with it.
It came as a great disappointment to me.
I'm sorry.
I was hoping that, linked to a stable personality such as mine, you might settle down. If you were married to me, I might even be persuaded to send him back to the cages instead of having him destroyed. Think it over.
If I refuse?
The choice is yours. Well, my dear?
Perhaps you're right.
I am.
I suppose I ought to be rational about this. After all, he's an imperfect.
I'm glad you've come to your senses.
When can we be married?
Tomorrow, if you like.
The sooner the better.
Let me talk to the custodian, please. Hello. This is the Director of Emotional Stability for the 3rd Oblong. I would like you to cancel the execution of specimen XJ12. Turn him over to be remanded permanently to the genetic cages. You'd better go. I'll pick you up in, say, an hour, and we'll make plans. All right?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Hello. This is the Director of Emotional Stability again. I want you to cancel that last order. Proceed with the execution, but under conditions of absolute secrecy. No, don't use the lethal chamber. Take him through the upper level to the tunnels. Yes. Yes, I'll issue a pass for the radiation checkpoint.
Into the elevator.
Very well. Why are we going toward the surface? The cages are on the lower levels.
Radiation check.
I've never done that before.
New procedure. Walk.
Halt. You can't go beyond this point. There is radioactivity in the tunnels.
I have a pass from the Director of Emotional Stability for the Third Oblong. Special mission.
I'll open the airlock.
March inside. Turn around.
So this is how they get rid of the imperfects. Now, before you dispose of me...
Yes?
Help! Security! Security!
What's happened?
The prisoner struck me. He escaped into the tunnels.
He won't last long.
Can you go after him?
I could send a robot, but it isn't worth the trouble. There's no way back from the tunnels except through here. The only other direction he can go is toward the surface. And the closer he gets, the hotter the radiation. No. I think you can consider your prisoner officially dead.
More wine?
No, thank you, Walter.
You look very beautiful, my dear. Very beautiful.
Thank you.
The wedding will be a small affair. The director of endocrine control, the chief of the security guard.
Walter?
Yes?
Was he returned to the cages?
Oh, now, why must you spoil it?
Was he, Walter?
Well, as a matter of fact, there was a little difficulty.
Difficulty?
Yes, you see, XJ-12 escaped.
How? Where?
He struck a guard and ran off into the tunnels.
The tunnels. But that's sure death.
He's free to return any time he chooses. Now, don't become upset, darling.
You planned it, didn't you, Walter?
Stability, darling, stability.
Stability, stability. Here's what I think of stability.
Halt! State your business.
I'm Professor Burton of the Genetic Institute.
You can't go into the tunnels, Professor.
You'll have to let me by. I'm the fiancée of the Director of Emotional Stability.
Oh. I suppose you're after the one who escaped?
Yes.
He's quite dangerous, I understand.
I'm well armed.
Wouldn't it be better to send a robot?
I'm quite capable of handling him. He was my subject.
All right, miss. It's your risk. Checkpoint.
This is the Director of Emotional Stability.
Yes, sir.
If Professor Burton tries to pass the checkpoint, I want her taken into custody.
Professor Burton just passed her.
You idiot!
But, sir, she said that
I
she
don't
had...
care what she said. Stop her. Send robots after her. Get her back.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Robot control. Checkpoint to robot control. Order out all televocal robots into the tunnels. Have them bring back any humans. This is a first priority order.
Oren! 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 Oren, where are you? Oren.
Hello?
Oren! It's Lois.
This way. Behind the rock. Over here.
Oh, darling, darling.
Lois. Lois, why did you come here? It's suicide.
I had to. Oh, darling, are you all right?
So far.
You've got to turn back. Give yourself up.
They'll kill
You
me.
can't stay here. The radiation is +4 at this point. It gets worse as you approach the surface.
Lois, darling, go back.
What will you do?
I'm going ahead.
But you can't.
I can. I'm going to the surface.
It's certain death. Not even the robots can survive it.
Well, at least I'll be the first human in 1,100 years to see what the surface of the Earth looks like.
Come back with me.
No, Lois.
Then I'm going with you.
Lois.
Don't try to stop me, darling. There's nothing to go back to now. Nothing but water and emotional stability.
You really want to come with me?
Yes.
You know what it means.
I don't care.
My mother used to believe there was a life after death. A place called heaven.
We'll believe it, too.
Oh, no, Lois, I can't let you go.
Oren, I love you. See, I know how to say it now.
Say it again.
Oren, I love you.
What's that?
It sounds like... Oren, it's a robot patrol. They're looking for us.
All right, come on. This way.
Oren, wave.
can't be much farther, darling.
The robots. They're coming. I can see their lights now.
Listen, they've stopped.
The lights are swinging round. Oren, they see us.
Come on. Look, Lois, look ahead. You can see the lights reflecting from something.
It looks like a lead door.
Come on through. There must be some way to close it. Oh, yes, here.
Let me help.
Well, they won't get through that. It's solid lead.
Oren, I feel so strange. Where are we?
I don't know.
Look, up there. A huge round light.
Lois.
Yes, Oren.
Lois, that's Luna, the moon. We're on the surface.
How strange and red everything looks. How it glows.
It's the radioactivity.
Quiet and peaceful. And deadly.
Oh, hush, darling, hush. Sit here and rest a while.
Put your arm around me. Oren, I'm afraid. Oren, we're going to die.
Don't think about that. Just think about us. Alone. The first humans to stand on the surface of Earth in 1,100 years. That door must have been placed there by the last handful of survivors who went underground after the atomic wars.
And those other lights, the small ones, they must be stars. Oren, I'm so tired.
Go to sleep, darling. Put your head on my shoulder and sleep.
Hold me, Oren. Hold me very close. Oren.
Hmm?
Oren, wake up.
Hmm? What?
Look, it's light. The whole universe is light. Oh, Oren, how beautiful. Look.
This must be the heaven my mother talked about.
See the plants? All green and fresh. And the birds. How strange they look.
Lois, this isn't heaven.
But we must be dead, Oren. We should be dead. The radiation.
By all the laws of nature, yes.
By all the laws of nature. Oren. Oren, we're not dead. This is Earth. And we're alive. We're not going to die.
But, Lois, the radiation, it's present. You can see its effect.
Oren, did you ever hear of geotropism?
I'm not a geneticist.
There is a natural law of adaptation by which an organism will try to adjust itself to its environment by changing. It's called geotropism, don't you see?
No.
All these generations we've been bombarded by radiation filtering down through the Earth. Each successive generation must have inherited some degree of immunity.
But...
Oren, it can't hurt us. Don't you see? We're immune. We're probably the first generation to inherit sufficient immunity.
But, darling, if that's true, then we can transmit that immunity. We can pass it along to our children.
And they to their children. Come on. We'll have to find food and water.
The practical wife. Wait a minute.
What are you doing with that rock?
I want to scratch something on the outside of this lead door.
Lois and Oren.
4195 A.D.
Hello, tomorrow.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. It was an original story by George Lefferts, starring Jan Miner and John Larkin, and directed by Daniel Sutter. Next week, A Gun for Dinosaur by L. Sprague de Camp on X-1. This is the NBC Radio Network.
The Gregory boat is nearly 50 miles from the Magic Island. It is after 9 o'clock at night, with the warm, sluggish darkness of the subtropics hanging over the water, as the big diesel-motored cruiser plows steadily northward toward the regular steamer lanes and California. The escape from the island was entirely successful, but the Gregory boat is short of fuel, and those on board have no guarantee as to their margin of safety before the Euclidean scientists on the island repair the damage done by Jerry and Joan and set out after the boat. Mrs. Gregory and her daughter Joan are in the radio cabin, listening constantly for a message from Johnson, who is speeding through the South Pacific somewhere ahead of them. Captain Bradford and Jerry are standing in the pilot house on the boat, watching carefully for any sign of light on their course.
How much farther can we go on the oil we got, Tex?
Not very far, kid. I'd say 5 miles to most.
Gee, are you sure about that code message of Johnson's?
Couldn't miss it, Jerry. Johnson said he'd leave a trail of oil drums with lighted buoys on his course. He wasn't further than this when he dropped the first one according to his message.
Then we ought to see it pretty soon, if it hasn't been carried away off the course.
No, not much danger of that. There's no wind, and I've been setting our course to compensate for what little drift there is.
Just the same, I'm getting kind of worried. We couldn't do any more than hold her on a course with the little breeze we got.
I know it, Jerry, but we'll just have to hang on and see what happens. Then if we do run out and haven't picked up the drum, we'll simply have to radio Johnson and ask him to turn that boat around and come after us.
But his boat's on a scheduled run, and they've lost a lot of time over us already.
Yeah, true, but they'll come back if they have to. Of course, it's better for us if they don't, because Johnson is getting nearer a regular steamer lane all the time. And if he can catch a fast mail boat to Los Angeles, they can get in there and get busy on my formula.
But if we get fuel enough, we can make better time on this boat than anything on the ocean. Why wouldn't it be better for them to wait for us and load us with fuel than let us tear on into Los Angeles?
Well, you see, Jerry, well, I didn't want to alarm Pat and Joan with this, but Johnson's playing smart in more ways than one. He's got a mighty good idea of the sort of thing we've been up against. And he's afraid we'll still get caught and dragged back to that island. And if that happens, he wants to be free to go on into Los Angeles, get that formula compounded, come back to do a real job of wiping out that island.
Oh, gee. Do you think there's any real danger of us getting caught before we get far enough away from the Magic Island?
Yes, Jerry, I do. We saw enough things there to warn us that almost anything is possible where G47 and his men are concerned.
Yeah, I guess that's right, all right. Maybe even Johnson hasn't got as much chance of getting away as he thinks he has.
Why not?
Well, we had the Euclideans thinking Johnson was on board this boat. But in the last hour, we've been sending messages to him. And G47 will know where Johnson is.
No, not exactly, he won't. You notice that Johnson refuses to even tell us what his position is. Though the instruments on the island would register his exact course from the island, I don't think they could even guess how far he may be along that course. They don't know the power of the set he's using.
Oh, golly, Tex, this is the most mixed-up thing I ever heard of.
Captain.
Yes, Skipper, what is it?
Light.
Gee, Tex, a light. Let's go see what it's all about.
Where away, Skipper?
Starboard.
Off the beam?
Aye.
Hey, I don't see anything out there.
Oh, wait a minute now, wait. I do. Yes, that's it. Signal the engine room for half speed. Throw that wheel hard over. That's a lighted buoy on an oil drum we've got to pick up.
Aye.
Hey, Tex, where you going?
Into the cabin. Come on, kid, we'll do a little figuring.
Course, Tex. I heard the engine room telegraph.
Yes, we're circling to pick up the first of the drums of oil Johnson dropped for us.
Oh, you have seen the lighted buoy, then?
Oh, no. The skipper saw it. You know, that old guy may not talk much, but he navigates with his eyes open.
You're right, Jerry. That's why the skipper is so valuable.
Now we've got to do a little scout practice on the chart here and see why that buoy should be so far off our course.
Hey, the motors have stopped. We must be getting ready to pick up that oil drum.
Sounded to me more like we've run out of fuel.
Yes, that's about it. Run out on deck, will you, Jerry, and help McLeod and the skipper haul that drum aboard? You may have to rig up a little canvas, too, to reach it if the fuel's going.
Aye, aye, Cap. Come on, Joan.
Oh, may I, Mother?
Of course, dear. Stop in my cabin and put on a heavy sweater, though. You've had enough exposure.
Oh, but it's warm out on deck, Mother.
You come on and do what your mother says.
Yes, Jerry, of course.
You've got something on your mind. Tex, what is it?
Well, I don't like that running out of fuel, for one thing, and that drum being so far off our course for another. We're not out of the woods yet, Pat.
But Johnson's last message sounded confident enough.
Yes, I know, but, well, Pat, I wasn't going to tell you.
Yes, Tex?
And I told Jerry not to discuss it in front of you, but things lack a whole lot of being perfect for our getting away safely.
I know there's a certain element of danger, Tex, but after what we've been through on that island...
Exactly, dear. After what we've been through on that island, we don't want any more of it.
You don't think there's much chance of those Euclideans being able to stop us now, do you?
Well, we're only 50 miles from the island. If those chemists wake up while we're within striking distance, or if the remaining guards can manage to get that submerged island drained out and raised, well, they're coming after us.
Then, if you think things are that dangerous, why not send a hurry-up call to Johnson, have that boat put about and run back for us?
Yes, that's what Jerry asked me, but it's no good. Johnson is taking chances on our picking up barely enough fuel from these boys. And for all we know, he hasn't enough large drums aboard to dump sufficient oil out for us. Yet in spite of all that, he keeps running away from us.
Well, I'm not sure I understand what he's doing, Tex.
I do, perfectly. He knows our danger, and he knows that even if we're caught again, he can go into Los Angeles, have my universal solvent formula compounded, and come back here with enough help to finish that island. While if he came back here now and was caught with us, well...
Yes, I understand.
Sorry, Pat, but it's about the way it looks to me.
Listen.
Sounded like the wind started.
Yes. They must be getting ready to pick up the oil drum.
Guess we had speed enough to carry us around to that buoy. They couldn't have rigged a sail and made it in this time.
Jerry is helping the skipper and Mr. McLeod take a drum of oil aboard, Captain Bradford.
We thought that was what the noise was, Joan.
Yes, dear. But how did we get to it so quickly?
The buoy was not as far off our course as it appeared to be. The light on it was very small and dim. It was actually not more than 100 yards away when the skipper sighted it.
It relieves my mind about more than the oil.
You mean about being off your course?
Yes, at least we know we haven't forgotten how to navigate.
How long will that amount of oil last, Captain?
I can't very well tell you until I see how large the drum is.
Oh, that was stupid of me, wasn't it?
Did you notice the size, dear?
Well, Mother, it was still hidden down in that dark water. I could not see it. And Jerry sent me in here to tell you that we had found it.
No, that's all right, Joan. We'll soon know how large it is.
I will go and find out, Captain.
Don't bother, Joan. Jerry will come in as soon as they get the engine room hatch. As soon as they get it down there. I don't hear the winch. It must be over the hatch. It won't take long. It's going below now. It's landed, and none too gently from the sound.
Well, it must have been a large drum.
I sure hope so.
How rapidly does this boat use up the fuel oil, Captain?
I'm not sure without checking with Mac, but I know one barrel won't take us very far.
Well, we got the barrel of oil in the hole, all right. Mac and the skipper are going to put it into the tank as fast as they can.
How big was it, Jerry?
Well, Mac said it looked like 55 gallons to him.
Oh, that won't take us very far, will it, Tex?
No, not very, but Johnson knows how this boat burns it, and I told him we'd be running wide open, so he should drop those things overboard for us pretty often.
Do you think it will take us long to start the boat again, Captain?
Why, getting nervous, Joan?
Yes, I am. We are so near that awful Euclideans, and they have so many powerful things with which to reach us.
Oh, but most of those guys are asleep. And the ones that aren't are busy trying to raise that island after you and I flooded the lower levels.
You can't be sure how long that gas from your formula will keep them asleep, will you, Tex?
No, that would depend on the quantity of it they mixed up. The size of the room, and how soon they were given fresh air. Oh, a lot of things. But it should last for several more hours.
And then there is the possibility of raising the island and using the submarines to chase us. Or even the airplanes. None of the aviation engineers were in the gas-filled chamber. They would all be free to set out after us the moment the surface of the island cleared the water.
Oh, you can all think of the nicest things. Now, why not quit hanging crepe and agree that we're away from the island? That's something. And we've got some more fuel. That's something else. It's not going to help things to sit around here with long faces and feel sorry for ourselves.
You're right, Jerry. But after all, Joan knows all about the island. And 50 miles or 100 miles doesn't guarantee us much safety.
Well, let's quit worrying about it for the time anyway. Any minute now, the motors will start. We'll have their Huskarora anyway to help us out.
Yes, Skipper?
Captain.
Come in, Skipper. Got the oil in the tanks yet?
No.
Why not? Trouble?
Aye.
Serious?
Bad.
Right with you, Skipper. Shove off. You three stay here till I get back.
Yes, Tex, we will.
Gee, I wonder what's up now.
Well, probably they can't get the oil drum open. I've seen that happen time and time before.
But surely there is some way.
Well, if there is, Tex will find it. I know those things can be dangerous, though.
In what way can they be dangerous, Jerry?
Well, there's no telling how much gas there is in one, especially if the oil doesn't fill it tight. And if you're not careful with wrenches and hammers, sometimes a spark will blow one up.
I think Tex has handled several of them. We haven't much to worry about, though our time is awfully precious right now.
It's funny we don't hear them working on it. I'm going to...
Oh, no, Jerry. Stay here. You know the captain said for us to stay here in the cabin.
But golly whiskers.
I think you should stay, Jerry. For some reason, Tex wanted you to, and his reasons are usually very good ones.
Oh, okay, Mrs. Bradford, I'm sorry. But, well, I don't like to just sit here and do nothing. I'm getting the jitters.
I, too, have the jitters, Jerry.
Oh, what was it, Tex?
Couldn't they get the oil drum open?
Captain Bradford, your face, it looks like a thundercloud.
Tex. Oh, shut that door and come in here. Now, tell us quickly, what's the matter?
That oil drum. He got it open all right.
Yes, and then what?
But we'll never run those motors on that oil.
Was it not the right kind of oil, Captain?
It wasn't oil at all. It was turpentine.
Turpentine?
Oh, Tex. Then we can't move.
No, we can't move. And we've gone just as far from that island as we're liable to go.
When the powerful diesel-motored cruiser bearing the Gregory party swept away from the Magic Island, their escape seemed perfect. With only enough oil on board to run the motors a short time, a radio message from Johnson saying he was dropping drums of oil with lighted buoys along their course cheered them on. Then, just 50 miles from Euclidia, the motors sputtered and went dead. And barely in time, the first oil drum was sighted and picked up. But it's now 3 hours later, nearly midnight, and the motors of the Gregory boat have not turned over since the oil drum was taken aboard. They will never run on the oil from that drum, because the drum contained not oil, but turpentine. In the inky blackness of the subtropic night, Captain Bradford and Jerry stand at the rail near the stern of the helpless boat.
Gee, Tex, we've only made about 2 miles in the last 3 hours. That won't do us any good.
I know it, Jerry, but there isn't a thing we can do about it. That little scrap of sail is all we can hang on to. And even in a stiff breeze, we couldn't make over 4 or 5 knots. And with this deadly calm that's all around us, we're lucky to hold her steady.
Why can't we add more sail, Tex? Oh, we've got plenty of canvas, and we could lash a long spar to the mast and hang it on there. It might not look so good, but it'd catch a lot more wind than that dinky little thing.
Yeah, I don't think I haven't thought of all those things, Jerry. That would only make matters worse if we got a real breeze.
How come? I thought the more sail, the more speed.
Well, that's okay up to a certain point. And on a vessel, it was intended for sail. But the mast on this boat was only an afterthought, to use as a radio aerial, and for a little auxiliary sail at times. If you really hung enough canvas on that mast to kick this boat along at good speed, she'd bury her nose so deep we'd never come up. The mast is too far forward. We haven't got keel enough for a canoe. Just won't handle as a sailboat.
Gee, Captain Bradford, it doesn't look so hot for us.
No, kid. We could be a lot better off than we are now.
8 bells, midnight. And we're just about as close to that island as we were when we picked up that oil drum 3 hours ago.
Afraid so, Jerry. We haven't made more than a couple of miles. 3 at the most.
And those Euclidean guys have had 3 hours to wake up and start doing things about catching us.
Yes, and I think that formula of mine, which put them to sleep, might be wearing off any time now, too.
Don't you think we ought to call Johnson, Tex?
I hate to do it. It means that steamer will have to turn around, bring him back here to us, and then probably be captured along with Johnson and all the rest of them.
I'm sorry for Mrs. Gregory.
Yeah, it's been mighty hard on her, all right.
Well, it doesn't matter so much about you and me. After all, we're men, and we can stand a lot more than women can. But poor Mrs. Gregory's been hunting for Joan all over the world for 14 years. And now she's found her. Well, it looks like maybe she'll never get back home.
Well, we mustn't give up, kid. We found that crazy island which the rest of the world didn't know existed. We spent a lot of days there, and we got away. That's more than anybody else ever did.
Yeah, but don't forget about the old sailor they turned loose just long enough for him to broadcast the radio message that brought us here. They took him back to the island, and, well, that was the end of him.
Yes, I know, but nothing like that's going to happen to us.
And say, we never did find the old sailor's diary. I wish Joan and I could have had time to look for it when we went down inside the island.
Oh, it's no use. Anyway, I think Joan knows as much or more about that place as that poor old man ever did.
Oh, gee, I just can't stand here and look at the dark any longer.
Well, what else can we do?
Well, we can walk around the deck. That's better than standing still.
Well, all right, here we go, son. May not do any good, but it certainly can't hurt anything. I'm getting like you. I've got to do something to keep from thinking what a jam we're in.
I guess we might just as well stand at the rail and watch the stars again for a while. Well, I thought I couldn't stand still, and now I'm getting tired of this walking. Well, we must have gone around the deck hundreds of times, Tex.
Yes, we've been on it for hours, son. I only hope Joan and her mother are getting some sleep. They put out the light in their cabin a couple of hours ago. Good thing we had those oil lights on board. Otherwise, we'd have to stay in the dark all the time to save the juice for the radio.
Gee, 8 bells again. 4 o'clock in the morning. We've walked around that deck for 4 hours.
Yes, but our walking was like our thinking. We didn't get anywhere.
Hey, look. The light in Mrs. Gregory's cabin.
Oh, we must have kept them awake walking around this deck.
I'll bet they weren't any more asleep than we were.
No, I expect not. Hasn't been a very restful night for anyone.
Oh, Tex. Jerry.
Hello?
Yes, Pat?
Come here, you two. Will you please?
Sure. Coming right up.
What's the matter, Pat? Something bothering you and Joan?
Nothing more than usual, Tex. It's just this waiting. Waiting. Waiting for what?
Haven't you and Joan been able to sleep at all?
Why, oh, you're all dressed, Mrs. Gregory. I'll bet you didn't even try to sleep.
Yes, I did, Jerry. But it wasn't any good.
Is Joan dressed, too?
Yes. Joan, dear.
Yes, Mother?
Come out on deck, dear. We may just as well talk to Tex and Jerry as to stay in there alone and worry.
I think there is no value in worrying. We can do nothing but wait.
Oh, golly whiskers. What can we do but worry while we're waiting?
I haven't been able to think of anything sensible to do.
I guess none of us have been any too bright about that. It'll soon be daylight. We may be able to hail a passing ship then.
And the Euclideans will surely be fully recovered from the effects of your gas, Captain. And they will be out here after us.
Well, we'd be just as well off on that crazy island as we are out here drifting around in the Pacific Ocean.
But the Euclideans will not be inclined to treat us kindly if they take us back there now.
I've been wondering just what their attitude will be.
You don't think they'd do anything terrible to us, do you?
I think our lives will be safe until G47 gets the captain's formula. But they have many ways of making life very unpleasant.
Yeah, and I'll bet old G47 remembers them all for us.
Well, let's walk around the deck. Jerry and I put in 4 hours at it, and it does help to pass the time away.
I'll say we walked around the deck. I was going to count how many times we did, but I lost track somehow.
I will count the revolutions we complete, Jerry, and you figure how far we travel. That will give us something to do at least.
Gee, I'm all in.
I, too, am very tired.
How about you, Pat?
I think this is as far as I care to go. It's broad daylight now, and we've seen nothing but water. And then more water.
Oh, let's go in the cabin and sit down a while.
Might as well, I guess.
8 bells. 8 o'clock in the morning. And we are very little farther from the island than we were at 9 o'clock last night.
How far has that sail actually carried us, Tex?
Oh, maybe 20, 25 miles in the 11 hours.
Oh, golly. We might as well be standing still.
Well, let's go in the cabin. There ought to be a little juice left in the batteries. I'm afraid the time has come for that last message to Johnson. Go on in, everybody.
Well, I'll find the oil lamp and light it.
I'll lie down and let you do the work, Tex.
Go ahead, Pat. Never mind the light, Jerry. We'll leave this door open. The daylight is good enough. We may even need the little bit of oil in the lamps pretty badly before we get out of this.
Okay, Tex.
I will just sit here on the couch with Mother. My feet do not feel very comfortable.
I wouldn't think so. Now, you three keep quiet, as I'll likely get a mighty weak signal out of this thing if I get any at all.
Gee, there's not much juice there. The tubes aren't even getting hot.
Going to be awful slow work if we ever get them hot.
You're going to tell Johnson our position is hopeless, aren't you, Tex? And see if he can't turn that boat around and come after us.
Well, I hate to do it, Pat, but we don't seem to have any choice. Quiet now, I'm going to try it. J24Y to J12C. Hello, J12C. Bradford to Johnson. Hello? Hello, Johnson. QSN? Johnson. QSN, Bradford.
I don't think you're getting out far enough, Tex.
Afraid you're right, kid. We'll just leave it open a minute and see if we can pick up anything before the batteries die entirely out.
I am very much afraid, Captain Bradford, that the Euclideans will have their radios operating by this time, and your message will be picked up.
Tex knows that, dear. But it doesn't matter now. We're almost sure to get caught after all these hours. And if we can get one last message to Johnson, it will give us a shred of hope, at least.
Hey, listen, everybody.
What is it, kid?
I mean, quiet. Listen for something.
Yes, I hear it.
It sounds like an airplane.
But where would an airplane come from?
From Euclidia, Jerry.
Quiet, everybody. Yep, that's it, all right. Well, we did our best.
But, Tex, there may be some hope. That plane doesn't have to be from Euclidia.
Well, I guess there isn't any other place it could be from.
Oh, it is a Euclidean plane.
Euclidean plane to Captain Bradford. Hello, Bradford. Waiting.
Will you answer him, Tex?
Guess I'd better.
Yeah, he might drop a bomb on us if you don't.
Bradford to plane. Go ahead.
You will drop your sail. Stand by. Lay to for submarine. Drop your bow anchor. You will be towed to Euclidia.
Lay to and stand by for boarding. We'll drop sail.
It is well. That is all. Remember that resistance on your part can mean but one thing. That is all.
Hey, I'm going out and get a look at that plane.
No, kid, you stay here. Pat, you and Joan run and tell the skipper and McLeod to take off the canvas and drop the bow anchor.
We will do it at once, Captain.
What are you and Jerry going to do, Tex?
I've just got an idea. Now, don't worry. We won't do anything foolish. Now, run along and tell the skipper.
We'll hurry, Tex.
Now, what do you want me to do?
Nothing, kid. I just wanted to get Pat and Joan out of here a minute while I tell you something that may prove mighty dangerous to you. But I've got an idea that when we land on the Magic Island this time, we're really going to be prisoners. We may be separated. So there's a few things you'll have to know.
Okay, I'm ready. What are they?
There goes the anchor. I wonder how long it'll be before that sub picks us up.
Commander S1 to Captain Bradford. S1 to the Gregory boat.
Gee, Tex, it's the same girl commander who helped us escape.
Yeah, but she can't do us any good now.
Captain Bradford, you will answer at once. I can hear your open beam.
Bradford to Commander S1. So we meet again. The bow anchor is out for you. Sail being taken down. That all?
That is all. You were wise to follow instructions. Captain, have you a landing stage aboard?
I have. On the port side.
You will make it ready at once. I will personally board you. That is all.
Gee, Tex, the commander's coming aboard herself.
Yeah, she's going to make sure we don't try any tricks.
No, Tex, she's coming aboard so she can get a chance to talk to us before we get back to the island. She's going to help us out.
I'm afraid not, Jerry. When we get back to Euclidia this time, we're done for.
Don't you believe it. That girl's on our side. You'll see when she gets here.
Things are better than others, but that we should never say that anything is wrong, that is, has no value. That's not true. There are things that are wrong. Yes, some things are just plain wrong. No rightness about them. Atomic war is one of those things. If we get started on a real atomic war, see, ordinary war destroys men. Atomic war can destroy humanness by producing mutations that aren't human. But there's another thing that's wrong, too. And that's the wrongness of fooling yourself. Not merely others, but fooling yourself. And that's tonight's story.
And you say the annual budget of this institution is $8 million, Dr. Hawley?
That's right, Senator Bryan. $8 million a year for the care and feeding of...
The freaks, Doctor?
Oh, we try never to think of them as freaks, Senator, and never to speak of them that way. Some of them have unusually sensitive hearing.
Yes, but they are...
Well, they're mutants, Senator. Genetic sports created by radioactive fallout. You might say they're martyrs to the criminal stupidity of the 20th century.
Well, is it compulsory for a mutant to live in an institution like this? I confess I'm not completely familiar with the legal aspect.
Compulsory? No, Senator. It's not compulsory. But it's often simpler for a mutant to live within these walls than out there in the world at large.
So I can understand that.
80% of them have come here voluntarily.
And the rest?
Committed by relatives who couldn't stand the sight of them. But, come, let me show you some of the patients, Senator. That's Anna over there. You'll notice I didn't bother knocking. Anna doesn't hear sound. When she wants privacy, she just bolts her door.
But what is she doing?
Thinking.
That's all? Just thinking?
Well, that's all she ever does, Senator. She's busy working on a new cosmological theory. Come, Senator. We're disturbing her concentration. Let's try another room. Now, there are many different types of mutations, of course, Senator. Hardly any two are alike. And some of our patients are simply physically deformed. You know, an extra limb, a strange texture of skin, differences like that. But others are more or less normal physically, but have unusual mental ability. And still others, like Anna here, well, they're both deformed and mentally unusual. Now, in this room, we have a pair of remarkable mutants.
Dr. Hawley, what's that coming up the hall toward us?
It's Mary, one of our more interesting patients.
You let them wander around the hall?
This isn't a prison, Senator. Hello there, Merrick. Where are you heading?
Taking a little walk, Dr. Hawley.
This is Senator Bryan. He's paying us a visit here today. He's on the Senate Appropriations Committee.
How interesting. I'm leaving here, Dr. Hawley, right now.
Leaving? But you haven't been out of here in 10 years, Merrick.
I've decided to give the world another chance.
You know the rules, Merrick. If you volunteer to come in as a patient, you have to give 3 months' notice. Now, that way we can prepare you for life in the outside world.
I'm leaving right now, Doctor. 10 minutes after I'm gone, you will forget all about this. You remember there was once a Clyde Merrick here, but according to your records, he was discharged today, September 4th, 2019. You go directly to the recording computer and make the change. And as for you, Senator, whatever your name, you will have no recollection whatever of this conversation. And when you return to Washington, you will do your best to see that Dr. Hawley's appropriation is increased. Is all that clear? Good. Goodbye, Dr. Hawley. Thank you for everything.
Very well, Senator. Let's continue our little tour now. Suppose I let you see our recreational therapy wing now.
It's all right, Doctor. I don't feel very well. Could we sit down and rest for a while? The oddest sensation in my head. It's as if I fell asleep for a few minutes. And a very strange dream. A young man talking to me.
Maybe a little fresh air. It's rather warm in here.
Yes. Fresh air would be good.
Straight through that corridor. It'll take you to the courtyard. I'll be with you in just a moment. I have to stop in at the office and make an entry on a patient's record. Something I've been meaning to do for a long time. I keep forgetting it. I'll be with you in a moment, Senator.
The danger you can't stop is the danger that by its very nature keeps you from seeing that it's there or knowing that you've met it. That's a hard one to stop. It camouflages itself so that you don't even know you encountered it.
Driving to town, miss?
Yes, I am, but I never pick up strangers when I'm driving alone. Why did I stop the car?
You will give me a lift.
Sure. Climb in. Over here next to me.
Thanks. I was sure you'd change your mind.
This is an awfully lonely part of the country to be hitching a ride in. Where are you coming from?
You see that building up on the hill with the brick fence around it?
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Some sort of government hospital, isn't it?
Close. It's a sanctuary for mutants. That's where I was coming from.
From the mutant sanctuary? But are you
a mutant? Do I look like one?
I don't know. You look...
How do I look? I look perfectly normal, don't I?
Yes, you look perfectly normal in every way.
Tell me how I look to you.
You're tall, blonde, blue eyes, broad-shouldered, nice smile.
You'd say I was good-looking?
Yes. Yes, I'd say you were quite handsome.
Thank you. What's your name?
Lisa Roberts. You?
My name is Clyde Merrick.
Oh, you must work at the sanctuary then.
Yes, that's right. I work there. This is my afternoon off, and I thought I'd hitch a ride into town for some fun.
Well, you're lucky I stopped for you. I'm going all the way into town. And you know, it's funny, too. I never usually stop for strangers. Tony says I shouldn't.
Oh, who is Tony?
My fiancé.
You're going to get married, then?
That's what having a fiancé usually means. Yeah, we're getting married in December. Going for a long cruise on our honeymoon.
What do you do, Lisa?
Do? Oh, I'm a dancer. Maybe you've seen me on TV. I'm usually on every Saturday night. Not that anyone ever remembers the girl from the chorus.
I don't look at TV much, I'm afraid. Is this Tony of yours a dancer, too?
Yes, he's the leading man of the show.
You love him very much, don't you? You could never think of marrying anyone else.
You do talk strangely sometimes. I guess it's because you're around those crazy mutants all the time. Of course I love him very much. What do you think?
How do you feel about mutants, Lisa?
Just the way everyone else does, I suppose.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, I feel sort of pity for them. But still, pity and all makes me feel creepy to think about people with two heads and all.
Well, none of them have two heads, Lisa. That particular mutation doesn't survive to adulthood. Most of the really strange ones die off the first few weeks of life.
No, even so, I've seen pictures of them. It's a good thing they keep themselves cooped up in their sanctuaries. Good for them and good for us.
But sometimes they leave the sanctuaries. They try to live like normal people.
But they aren't normal people.
Sometimes they can convince others that they are normal. We can be very convincing, Lisa.
We?
I'm a mutant, Lisa. I'm casting a mental projection that hides my true appearance.
Oh, no. Leave me alone. Get out of the car.
Oh, slow down. I won't hurt you. I'm very friendly. I'm a lonely person, Lisa, and you're so beautiful. You're not afraid of me, are you?
I'm not afraid of you.
Of course you aren't. You like me. You like me very much. I'm tall and broad-shouldered, and you think I'm handsome.
Very handsome.
More handsome than your fiancé, Tony.
Of course.
You're wondering what you ever saw in Tony, aren't you? You're starting to forget you ever had any liking for him at all.
I can't imagine how I could ever let myself think I cared for him.
You're forgetting him rapidly. You don't even know who Tony is now, but you know who I am, don't you?
Yes. Yes, of course.
And you love me. You've only known me for a few minutes, but despite that, you've fallen deeply in love with me. Haven't you, Lisa?
Yes. I love you, Clyde.
And I love you, Lisa. Will you marry me, Lisa?
Of course, Clyde. Yes, I'll marry you, darling.
Of course, it isn't really Clyde Merrick's fault. He's not responsible for what he is. He was made that way by the genetic mutations caused by too much atomic warfare. It isn't his fault. But that doesn't make him tolerable, does it? He is an intolerable menace.
Oh, that was a wonderful meal, darling. You know, I don't know how you did it. All those people waiting in line for tables, and the head waiter just took you right over to the spot.
I have ways of being persuasive.
Oh, I see. You love me?
Of course, Lisa.
We'll be married tomorrow and go far, far away. Rent a cabin somewhere and stay there for months and months and just read and fish and sleep. Oh, it sounds wonderful.
It is wonderful. Just the two of us.
I can't wait.
You're not worried about Tony, are you?
Tony? I don't know anyone named Tony, do I?
No, you don't know anyone named Tony. Come on, let's get out of here.
If you say so, darling. Where will we go?
Your car. We'll drive out into the country. You can't see the stars here in town.
You haven't paid the check.
It doesn't matter. You see them trying to stop me?
Well, no, but
I can eat for free anytime. You see? They're smiling goodbye to us.
Drive anywhere?
Take the road you were on this morning when you met me.
Of course.
Lisa.
What is it, dear?
Do you really love me? Really and truly love?
I love you, Clyde.
No. No, you don't. Not at all.
Oh, whatever do you mean?
It's no good. It isn't real. It's just another fraud.
I don't understand.
You don't love me. Not really. I've made you think you do, and you say you do, but that isn't enough. Every time I'd kiss you, every time I'd hold you in my arms, I'd know you were nothing but a puppet playing the role I made you play. Do you call that love?
Clyde, you're talking nonsense.
I wish I were. I thought I might be able to find some fulfillment outside the sanctuary, but I was wrong. What good is it all? I can fool everyone. Everyone except myself. Lisa, tell me again. How do I look to you?
Well, tall, very good-looking, blonde hair, kind of wavy, regular features.
In other words, as handsome as a video star. All right, stop the car.
Stop it? Why?
Because I want you to.
Well?
Ever since I left the sanctuary this morning, I've been projecting a false appearance. It's a power of mine. Something special I have, thanks to the otherwise unkind providence. I'm going to turn that projection off now, Lisa. Let you have a look at me as I really am. As I look without the benefit of hypnotic trickery.
Oh, no! Oh, no! It's hideous. That face, those eyes, the skin.
Everything's all right now. You're starting to forget. In a moment, you'll have forgotten it. There. All better. How do you feel?
All right, Clyde.
Good. But you see, Lisa, I was wrong. I thought if I left the sanctuary at last, disguising myself as one of the normals, I could be happier. I could... But it would be a synthetic happiness. You can't live on nothing but cotton candy, Lisa. Start the car.
Yes, Clyde.
Drive up the hill to your left. And that's it, right up to those big gates. All right. Stop here. This is the sanctuary. I'm back home now. Home to stay where I belong.
Clyde, I'm all mixed up. I don't know what's happening.
You're going to turn your car around and drive home, Lisa. You're going to go home and go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, you'll have no recollection of today at all. You'll simply have lost a day. And you'll marry your Tony, and you'll be happy with him. Is that clear, Lisa?
Yes, Clyde.
All right now. You're beginning to forget me already. Say goodbye to me, Lisa.
Goodbye, Clyde.
That's right. No, don't kiss me. Back home again. Goodbye, Lisa.
The saving grace in Clyde Merrick was that while he could fool all those around him, he didn't fool himself.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman. And now, Superman, champion of the weak and the oppressed, valiant fighter for truth and justice, who is faster than an airplane, stronger than a locomotive, and who walks the earth as a man among men in the character of mild Clark Kent, news reporter for the Daily Planet. When we last saw him, Superman, as Clark Kent was speeding westward in a plane with young Jimmy Olsen, office boy from the Daily Planet city room, and the badly wounded form of Ed Hamlin of the National Air Service. Another plane followed them and attempted to bring them down with machine gun bullets. With Hamlin badly hurt and young Jimmy at the controls, Superman fought off the mystery ship and returned to help Jimmy, only to find that a broken oil line had put their own plane in imminent danger of crashing. As our story continues today, the plane with its motor failing and Kent at the controls searches desperately for a landing place in the great darkness below. Listen.
Mr. Kent, what about it now? How are we doing?
Can't tell you, Jimmy. We're losing altitude all the time. No telling how much longer we can keep up airspeed.
It's still pretty dark.
How's Mr. Hamlin doing?
I don't know, Mr. Kent. He's moaning a little now and then, but he's not conscious.
Take another look below. See if you see anything.
Not yet. Wait a minute. I do see something. Mr. Kent, it's a light. And there's a light off to the left. There's two sort of streaks out in front of it.
What are you talking about? Where?
Look, don't you see it?
Great Scott, Jimmy, that's a railroad. What you see is the headlight of a train, and those streaks are the tracks.
We're right over it, Mr. Kent. That is, we're over the tracks. The train's back a little ways, but she's coming right along.
All right. I can't see much with this oil all over the window, but here goes. Stand by, Jimmy. Grab hold of something. I'm putting her down.
Gee, Mr. Kent, I hope we don't crack up. We hit. We made it.
Jimmy, we've landed. Half a minute now till I bring her to a standstill. Look out for Hamlin.
Boy, that was perfect, Mr. Kent. I never even got a bump.
Grab hold of that flashlight. Out you go now, quick. Open the door and jump down.
Mr. Kent, there she comes.
Thank heavens we're near the tracks. Run for it, Jimmy. Wave that light. Wave it in circles.
Mr. Kent, they'll never see us. They won't stop.
Yes, they will. Now, here we are. Now then, stand just where you are and wave that light. They see us. They see us.
Hey, anybody back there? What's going on?
Hi there. Gee, I'm certainly glad you stopped.
What's that? Who are you?
Listen, I flagged down the train. We've just had a forced landing in an airplane. 2 men and a boy. Where is he, anyhow? Jimmy! Jimmy!
Here, Mr. Kent. Gee, they certainly stopped after all, didn't they?
Hey, listen. You say an airplane. Who are you, anyhow?
I'm a newspaper reporter. I'm away to Bridger Field. This is my assistant.
Oh, boy.
Just a little way back, you'll find a wounded pilot in the plane.
What's your name?
Well, what's that got to do with it? Because if you must know, it's Kent. Clark Kent.
Of the Daily Planet and the best guy in the business.
Now, listen, mister. Never mind about our pedigrees. We've got to get our pilot to the nearest hospital. He's hurt.
Hospital?
Yes.
There's a hospital at Del Rio. That's where we're going.
Well, lend us a hand, will you? We don't want to hold you up any more than we have to.
Here comes your gang, mister.
Oh, come on, man. You look as if you'd seen a ghost.
Mister, our plane's right near the tracks, and Mr. Hamlin needs help. Let's go.
I don't let him get away. Yes. Put him over the side there. The brakeman of the circus train looks as if he'd seen a ghost, and perhaps he has. For some time later, when Jimmy and Kent are safely aboard, with the wounded Mr. Hamlin in a bunk and the circus train again on its way, the brakeman slips into a small, specially soundproof compartment which contains a shortwave two-way radio. He speaks with a strange and little-known figure in Del Rio, the silent man who handled animals for the Lawbeck Tent Show, who is known as Professor Hagen. Listen.
You say the man and the boy are aboard the train now?
And the pilot. There was three of them. The pilot looks like he'd been shot.
And so he was. He was trailed all the way east. And when he started back with that reporter, we sent a special plane to follow them and bring them down.
Boss, what's up?
Never mind. Something may happen at any moment. Great events are moving toward Bridger Field, my friend.
What do you mean?
Your job is where you are. The man, Kent, must not arrive. You understand?
I understand.
You say there's a boy?
Yeah. He had a boy with him when we picked him up.
Very well. Possibly you might show the boy and Kent the animals.
Huh? Show him the animals? You mean on board the train?
Precisely, Balto. Show them the snake. Show them the gorilla. Yes, the gorilla will do very nicely. In a car by himself, isn't he?
Boss, listen, he's dangerous. He's half crazy.
Excellent, Balto. Make sure of his cage door. You understand what I mean?
The cage door? I don't get you.
Before you let the man and the boy enter the gorilla's car, make sure of the cage door. Leave the latch off. That's all, Balto.
I get you. I'll make sure. Is that all?
That's all. Report what happened.
Gee, do you mean to say we can really look at the animals?
Sure, why not?
Gosh, isn't he a swell guy, Mr. Kent?
Well, he's certainly doing the honors, all right.
What's your name, mister?
Baldo. They call me Baldo. Watch out for the door.
What are we stopping for? We are stopping, aren't we?
Yeah, we're stopping, all right. Reckon we take on water here.
Gee, this open car is funny. Where's the gorilla?
Just ahead. He's got a car all to himself.
What's his name?
Jojo.
Is he very wild?
Wild? Jojo? Say, mister, he's so tame he eats right out of my hand.
Gee, what's that?
That's Jojo.
Hey, he doesn't sound tame.
He's just having fun. He's lonesome.
There isn't any chance of his getting out of his cage, is there?
Out of his cage?
Yeah.
Mister, that cage is solid steel bars, 2 inches thick. Here we are. This is Jojo's car. There you are. That's Jojo.
Hey, aren't you coming in?
I'll be back. I got to see what's doing on the side.
You're sure it's all right?
Oh, sure. Jojo loves business. Stay as long as you like.
Well, that's Jojo, Jimmy. He's certainly big enough.
Boy, and how?
All right, now, Jojo. All right, it's only us.
Mr. Kent, he's getting madder all the time. You don't suppose he can get out, do you?
I hope not, Jimmy. He may be as tame as that fellow said, but he might not know us for friends.
Mr. Kent, the cage door.
Something's gone wrong. The door swung open.
What do we do? He's getting ready to spring.
Quiet, Jimmy. Edge back toward the door. Don't make any sudden move. He isn't doing anything so far. He's making up his mind. I'll stay where I am.
Mr. Kent, the door. It won't open. It's blocked.
Locked. It can't be. Shake it.
I tell you it is.
Look out, he's coming. Jimmy, make for the window. Jump right through. I'll hold him back. Quick.
Mr. Kent.
Quick, I'll help you. I'll break the glass. There. Out you go.
Now then, come ahead, Jojo. I don't know what's back of this. That door didn't go down by chance, but we can't stop for that now. See what happens when a gorilla meets a Superman. Ahead, Jojo. Sorry about this. I know you're just fooling, but it's mighty rough for anybody else. Don't bite. I'll have to pin your ears back. You can't do a thing to me, Jojo. This is just the beginning of what I'm going to do to you. Get back. I said back. All right, let's see how you bounce. Oh, now you're really angry, eh? All right, I've had enough. Back in your cage, Jojo. Back in your cage. I have to carry you there. Come on. I said, come on. You can't fight me, Jojo. No use. You can't do it. You try fighting, you'll break your teeth. Here's your cage, Jojo. In you go. There. Quick now. Bolt the door back in place. There. That does it. Safe and sound in the cage. Now, where's Jimmy? Where's that brakeman? What's going on? We're moving. We've left the siding. Jimmy! Jimmy, where are you? Jimmy!
You there, boss?
I'm here, Balto. What's your report?
Something went wrong.
Wrong?
The gorilla got loose. The guy put the kid out the window, then he went to it with the gorilla.
Well?
Boss, he put him back in the cage.
What? Balto, you're a fool. It's not possible. But never mind that. There's something far more important. Where's the man Kent now?
Boss, listen. When he put the kid out the window, we was on a siding.
Yes.
Then we started up, and the kid got left. So the guy dropped off and went back.
What? Kent's not on the train? Are you sure?
I tell you, he's back in the middle of nowhere.
Good. It serves just as well. Now listen, Balto. Big things will happen in the next few days.
Huh? At Bridger Field?
At the field. I've just heard something, which I'll tell you when I see you. Hurry back, Balto. Hurry back and forget the boy and the man Kent. If they die in the desert, so much the better. Hurry, Balto. I have news when you get to Del Rio.
Big things just over the horizon. Danger threatening Bridger Field, with the airplane pilots all unknowing. And meanwhile, what of Kent and young Jimmy Olsen, alone in the trackless desert? Tune in next time and follow the exciting story.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Now, Superman, valiant fighter for truth and justice, champion of the weak and the helpless, who has appeared on Earth with a physical structure never before attained by mortal man. Superman, who is stronger than a locomotive, faster than a speeding bullet, and who walks about among human beings as Miles Clark Kent, news reporter for the Daily Planet. When we last saw him, Superman, in his character of Clark Kent, was on his way to Bridger Field, a private airport in the Southwest, to investigate a series of mysterious plane crashes. As our story continues today, some time has passed, and Kent and Jimmy have reached Bridger Field. And he and Kent are beginning their investigation. Listen.
Here's my office, Kent. Close the door and pull up a chair. Where's young Jimmy?
I believe he went into Del Rio with one of your men. Jimmy's still young enough to be attracted by a circus.
I still don't understand how you and Jimmy finally got here.
I thought I told you. Jimmy got left on that siding, and I hopped off the train and went back to find him. And we just waited till the next freight came along and rode in on that. But about that gorilla...
You're lucky you're still alive to tell about it, Kent.
Don't I know it? That wasn't any accident, Hamlin.
What?
I say that wasn't any accident. That cage door was left unlatched, and whoever did it meant to do it.
Good heavens, Kent. Why?
Well, that's what I'd like to know myself. And also, why was our plane attacked in the air? Why did they come after us with machine guns?
No, it's mad. Perfectly mad. I've had traces out all over the country. That attacking ship has simply vanished. And yet we know it crashed. You said that, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, it crashed, all right. But I'm not surprised it vanished.
You're not?
Hamlin, any power that could bring down 6 planes during their test flights right over this airport wouldn't have much trouble in disposing of a single plane out in the desert.
Can't think what you're saying.
I know what I'm saying, Hamlin. I'm absolutely convinced that the cause of the wrecks at Bridger Field is deliberate and human.
I beg pardon, sir.
Yes?
Radiogram just came in, marked urgent.
All right, Bailey, you needn't wait. Excuse me, will you, Ken, please?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah. This is news.
Am I allowed to ask?
We're being investigated now, all right? There's trouble ahead, Kent.
What do you mean?
Well, this says arriving Bridger 12:30, and it's signed Fuller.
Oh? Who's Fuller?
Oh, just the president of the National Air Service, that's all.
What? That Fuller?
Yeah, the president of the Lines, Kent. He does things like this all the time. Flies his own plane wherever he goes. Supposed to keep us on our toes and have the big boss drop in by himself and unannounced. Matter of fact, that is... Oh, wait a moment. What's the time now?
12:15.
It's about 15 minutes more time than he usually gives us.
What's that? Your clock's out of whack.
No. That's the automatic radio warning. Weather report coming out of Del Rio.
Oh.
Switch it on, will you?
Sure. Don't you get weather reports from the government?
Oh, yeah, sure. We just use this as a check. Funny how often they don't check. Wait till it warms up. All right, here it comes.
Cadet Broadcasting Station, Del Rio weather forecast for northern Sonora and Chihuahua. Important. Storm coming. Planes will meet arriving gales in next or possibly few hours or minutes. They should use precautions, for all are gale force. I will repeat. Weather forecast...
shut it off. He's out of his mind.
That's the dizziest line of talk I ever heard.
Well, to be fair to the fellow, you see, he's a Mexican translating into English as he goes along.
Oh.
But even then, there aren't any gales coming.
Oh, is he always that far off base?
Oh, no. Only on this really important stuff. When he says important, you can almost bet he'll be wrong. Well, now, getting back to the trouble.
Yes, there are several mighty interesting points, Hamlin. For one thing, what happened to the motors? You remember you told me in the plane just before you got hurt that in every single one of the wrecks, when you got to them, you found the motors missing?
That's right. They simply vanished.
Well, how do you explain it?
Kent, I can't explain it. It's fantastic. Not possible.
I beg pardon, sir.
Yes, what is it, Bailey?
Looks like a dust storm coming up, sir.
Dust storm? Where's it coming from?
Over in the northeast, sir.
Hey, that's sort of bad, isn't it, Hamlin? What about Mr. Fuller?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. If he has luck, he'll get here just about the same time the storm does. And that'll be our fall, too. Go on out to the field, Bailey. I'll be right out. We're expecting a plane.
Very good, sir.
Come on, Kent. There's really a dust storm coming. It's something to watch.
All right. What are they doing with those planes?
Getting them under cover. Say, wait a minute. That does look like a storm at that coming right down the valley.
Hamlin, I think you did that Mexican announcer an injustice.
Nonsense. He said gales, not dust storms.
Well, maybe in Mexican they're the same thing. Hey, that seems pretty terrifying. Is it as bad as it looks?
Well, it gets good and dark, and then everything is inches deep in dust. Thank heavens we don't get many of them, though. What I'm really worried about is Fuller.
He'll turn back when he sees it, won't he?
Him turn back? You don't know him.
How can he see to land?
He can't unless he gets here first.
When did he say he'd get here?
12:30, wasn't it? Must be pretty near that right now.
Is he prompt?
On the nose. Maybe sooner. Because if he's coming from the west, he's got a following wind.
What do you mean? The wind's with the storm, isn't it?
No, only near the ground. I haven't time to explain it all now.
Mr. Hamlin?
Yes?
There it is, plane coming in from the west. Where? I don't see it.
Yeah, there it is. It's just a speck. It's growing all the time. Well, the fool, he can see what's happening. Why doesn't he turn back?
Hey, if he doesn't work fast, he'll meet the dust head on. Coming down the valley hard, Hamlin. Say, there's some in the air already.
Kent, you'd better get inside. Get under shelter. When it hits, it's bad.
I may do that.
It gets into your throat and your eyes. Wait a minute. Where is he now?
Coming fast, sir. I don't think he'll make it. The dust will get here before he can get down.
Bailey, warn the ambulance crew. Tell them to stand by for a crash.
Hamlin, he's lower. He's going to try to make it.
Oh, it's touch and go. Oh, we ought to go back. Look, he's down to 1,000 feet, and here comes the dust. Kent, you get back. Get inside the house.
Okay, Hamlin. This isn't my job. I'll see you later.
What's going on up there? What's happening?
Mr. Hamlin, sir. He's trying to bank. He's going back.
No, he'll never make it. Now he hasn't a chance. Bailey, look.
Mr. Hamlin. What the?
He's in flames. He's burst into flames. Oh, it's just like all the others. He's on fire and he's going to crash. Emergency. Quick, run for it.
Not much time for this. Thank heavens for the dust storm. At least they think Clark Kent's still back in the house. Now for that plane. Up, faster, higher. Getting there. Noise of fire blazing. I was afraid of that. I thought they'd do it, whoever they are. Quick. Gotta catch that plane before it crashes. Here we are. Oh, what heat. Now then, right through the cabin. Fuller! Mr. Fuller!
Help! I can't see. Who's that?
He's out. Unconscious. Great heavens, it's like a furnace. Motor's on fire. Quick, over my shoulder. We're almost on the ground. Going to crash any second. Out! Out and away!
So, Mr. Fuller, you're sure you'll feel all right now?
Yes, certainly. Perfectly all right.
That was a nasty crash, Mr. Fuller.
I don't think I know this gentleman, Hamlin.
I beg your pardon, sir. He's the fellow that pulled you out of the wreckage. We didn't even know he was there.
Well, that wasn't anything.
He hadn't got you when he did, well...
sir, I'm obliged to you.
He's Mr. Kent, sir. Clark Kent.
Mr. Kent, all I can say is thank you. Thank you very much. Now then, Hamlin, I'm here for two reasons. First, to find out what's been going on.
We'd like to know that ourselves, sir.
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. What's it all about, eh?
Mr. Fuller, sir, we don't know. We haven't any idea. If I'd known you were coming, I'd have warned you off.
Warned me off, eh? Warned me off?
Well, sir, you saw what happened, even to you.
Precisely, and I shall stay here till the whole thing is solved. But that's not the most important thing, Hamlin.
No, sir?
Hamlin, this is Tuesday. Quite so. On Thursday evening, just 48 hours from now, or slightly more, this field will entertain a most distinguished visitor.
What? Distinguished visitor? Coming here?
Here and nowhere else. At the moment, I can't tell you who or what this visitor is. But if anything should happen here at the field...
But, Mr. Fuller, sir, really, he shouldn't come.
Shouldn't come?
No, under the circumstances, I can't be responsible. Why must he come to Bridger?
He's coming to Bridger for good and sufficient reason. I can't tell you any more than that, except that you will be responsible.
Well, Mr. Fuller, if you'll allow me a word, I think Mr. Hamlin is right.
Unfortunately, sir, this is a decision for ourselves. Not that I mean to be rude, you understand, Hamlin. You have 48 hours to make Bridger Field secure and prepare for our guest. That's all.
I beg pardon, sir.
No, not now, Bailey.
Mr. Kent, sir.
Yes?
It's the boy, sir, young Jimmy Olsen.
Well, what? Is he hurt? Has anything happened?
No, sir, but he's back from Del Rio. Back from the circus, Mr. Kent. And he says he's got to see you right away. He says it's important for you to come whatever you're doing. He says he's got to see you.
Events come marching thick and fast at the lonely airport of Bridger Field. Can Superman solve the mystery in 48 hours' time? Can he prevent accident to the distinguished visitor arriving on a mysterious errand? And what has young Jimmy Olsen discovered at the Lubbock Tent Show, where Professor Hagen works out his sinister plans? Tune in and follow the next exciting chapter of Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Hey, Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off the distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett. Space Cadet. Aboard a giant passenger spaceship rocketing toward the planet Venus, Space Cadets Tom Corbett and Roger Manning have solved the murder of Barton Reed, a representative from the ruling council of Venus. Now, with Nestor Deegan, a former suspect, they make their way down the companionways of the ship to the jet boat deck, where the assassin is being held prisoner in one of the airlocks.
I still can't get over it. Who would have thought a beautiful space doll like Alexandra Stone knocked off Barton Reed?
She's a very clever and unscrupulous woman, Cadet Manning.
Yeah, she almost had us believing you were guilty, Mr. Deegan. Go on, not me, Tom. I had her pegged from the minute I saw her.
But, Cadet Manning, you just said...
Don't pay any attention to him, Mr. Deegan. Roger always knows everything after it's happened. Oh, I do, huh? Well, listen here, you little space gnat. Stab your tubes, Roger. This is the jet boat deck. Now, let's collect our prisoner. Which airlock was she caught in, Mr. Deacon?
Number 3, port side. When I warned the captain about her, he sealed the outer portal.
Neat little trap. Sure glad it worked. She's got plenty of explaining to do.
Oh, there's Baxter, the flight engineer. He's been waiting for you, I guess.
Uh-huh. Right in front of airlock 3.
Congratulations, Cadet. You did a very neat job with that time bomb. Skipper asked me to tell you he was notifying Commander Arkwright of your good work.
Well, thank you, sir. I hope it makes up for the way we used his orders.
What then?
Nothing, sir. How about the prisoner? Can we talk to her?
Talk to her?
Yeah, she's going to tell us why she murdered Barton Reed.
This is very important, Mr. Baxter. There's a dangerous plot against the Council of Venus, and she's the only one who can tell us who's behind it.
You've got to let us talk to her.
I would, Cadet Corbett, only...
Only what?
Well, I thought you knew. She tried to escape. Climbed out of the jet boat to open the outer airlock portal by manual control.
She what?
She forgot the airlock pressure was high. When she opened the portal, she was pulled out into space. Alexandra Stone is dead.
Find anything yet, Roger?
No, not a blasted thing. Except that doll sure wore some classy clothes.
No, forget the clothes. We need something important.
Okay.
Corbett, if we don't find anything here in Alexandra Stone's compartment, if we don't get a clue to the identity of her masters, the ruling council of Venus is doomed.
Look, Mr. Deacon, what's this all about anyway? And how do you fit in? Who are you anyway?
I think you deserve to know, Corbett, especially after what you and Manning have done. I am a special operative for the Council of Venus. I was assigned to guard Barton Reed on his flight to Earth.
Oh?
Yes, I know what you're thinking. I didn't do a very good job of it. But then I didn't know of his plans to switch uniforms with Manning when he first arrived.
I see. But why did Barton Reed come to Earth in the first place?
To get help from the Solar Guard in stopping a revolution that threatens Venus.
A revolution?
Yes. We don't know who the leaders are, and we don't know when it will begin. But undoubtedly it will be soon. If we could only find out who these men are and where they will strike, we can be ready for them.
But how can a revolution succeed? The Solar Guard will throw everything into the fight.
These men are looking for a quick victory before the Solar Guard can even organize a defense.
Hey, Tom, Mr. Deacon, I got something, I think.
What is it?
Well, let's see, Roger.
This scrap of paper. It was folded in a locket the doll had. Found it by accident in a jewelry case.
Oh, funny. All it says is Atmosphere Station 5.
Yeah. Now, why should she keep something like this in a locket?
Mean anything to you, Mr. Deacon?
No, except an atmosphere station is a vital part of life on Venus. Without them, we could never survive.
Hey, you think those jokers behind the revolution intend to knock off the station?
No, impossible.
I don't see why, Mr. Deacon. The maintenance crews certainly wouldn't expect an attack. They'd be helpless.
Well, perhaps you're right.
Tom, as soon as we land, we better see what gives at that station.
For once, you're right.
No, you cadets have done enough. You must return to Earth now.
Oh, no, we didn't come this far to quit now.
But it may be very dangerous.
It hasn't been exactly clear sailing up to now. No, Mr. Deacon. We're following through all the way.
Very well, just as you wish, Cadet Corbett. But remember one thing. In dealing with these revolutionists, failure means death. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, today you're going to hear a very important message from Commander Arkwright. Now, Commander Arkwright put this message on the telerecorder system with special instructions that you hear him at this time. Commander Arkwright.
As the Commandant of Space Academy, it is my responsibility to see that only the best young men are permitted to become Space Cadets. Each year, I have personally checked the records to make sure every cadet is in his best possible physical condition. In questioning these young men, I have noticed one outstanding fact. In every case, the men who appeared to be the best choices were young men who were careful to eat good, nourishing foods. Now, one of these good foods is Kellogg's Pep. Pep is a 100% whole wheat cereal. And in addition to getting all the advantages of wheat in Kellogg's Pep, you also get a full day's supply of needed vitamin D in every serving. Besides vitamin D, Pep also gives you vitamin B1. So take my advice. To help get yourself in the kind of condition to meet the standards of Space Academy, eat Kellogg's Pep. You'll find it's a fine tasting cereal as well as a nourishing one. End transmission.
Well, there you are, Spaceman, right from Commander Arkwright. For built-up food values and a delicious malty-rich flavor, ask your mom to get Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Scattered over the surface of Venus at intervals of 2,000 miles are immense towering structures of gleaming metal and permaglass. These are the atmosphere stations, the lungs of the misty planet, supplying its inhabitants with breathable air. Now, Tom and Roger have arrived at Station 5 and tour the installation with the commanding officer, Captain Bridges.
We're standing on the control platform now, cadets. It's the nerve center of the atmosphere station. We're 100 feet above the floor. From this panel, we can regulate every phase of operations. The men you see working below are the maintenance crew.
Wow, it's a long way down, Captain Bridges.
Yes, and it's an even longer way up, if you'll notice. Above us is the output tower. The manufactured air is pumped out into the space surrounding Venus at the rate of 8 million cubic feet per minute.
Well, how do you manufacture the air?
From the original atmosphere. It's taken apart to make free oxygen and free nitrogen, leaving hydrogen, which escapes into space. We hold the oxygen by freezing it, and we move it through these pipes over here into large combine chambers where normal Earth atmosphere is created.
A little sabotage around here and the people of Venus would be in a mess of trouble.
Yes, indeed, Cadet Manning. And from what you've told me, we'll have to be prepared. I've already doubled the guard, and I'm making a thorough check on every man in the crew.
Isn't there anything that can be done if these stations are sabotaged?
Yes. We're preparing the old cities.
The old cities?
That's right, Corbett. The first colonists on Venus built cities under huge glass domes. They still exist. Several of them are being secretly restored, just in case of emergency.
Great jumping Jupiter, what happened?
One of the oxygen pipes is broken.
Well, that one over there, look, the stuff is pouring out. Let's get out of here.
Close your eyes, both of you, or they'll be frozen.
But how can we see?
Keep your hands on the guardrail. Follow it to the emergency stairs.
No, before it's too late. Here's the inspection report on that accident this morning, Corbett. Care to see it?
Yes, please, Captain Bridges. Uh-huh. I'm not surprised.
How about letting me in on it, Tom?
Well, listen, this is the last paragraph, Roger. In conclusion, close examination of the oxygen feed pipe clearly reveals the break could not have occurred through structural failure.
You don't have to read any more, pal. The answer is sabotage.
Exactly.
But not a very effective form of sabotage, boys.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, if somebody wanted to really knock out the station, he wouldn't have done it that way. All we had to do was shut off the oxygen supply.
But what about the way the stuff poured out?
It still wouldn't cause too much damage. Unless there was an open fire around, wouldn't even harm personnel. Not where the break occurred, anyway.
It almost got us, didn't it?
Exactly.
Hey, now I know what you're driving at, sir. Somebody was laying for us.
Right.
Oh, brother, here we go again.
Sir, do you have any idea who might have done it?
We suspect a man named Ford. He's only been working here at the station for 2 months, and he disappeared right after the accident.
Well, that's something of a lead. Suppose we try to find this joker.
Suits me fine. Let's see if he can take it as well as he dishes it out.
Right. We'll check with you later, Captain.
All right, Corbett. But watch yourselves, both of you. It looks like you're a couple of important targets.
Hello? Hello, this is Ford reporting.
It's about time. Where have you been?
Hiding out. They're looking for me.
Of course they are. You're a bungler, Ford. An incredible bungler. Not only did you fail to remove the cadets, but you disappeared from your job at the atmosphere station and called attention to yourself.
But I knew there would be an investigation.
Exactly why you should have stayed. Now you've alerted the guards of future sabotage, and you make our whole scheme more difficult.
But there was nothing else I could do.
You could have used your head. No matter now. The important thing is those cadets. They've got to be put out of the way. They've done nothing but snoop around since they arrived, probing into everything. They're dangerous. Ford?
Yes?
I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself.
What do you want me to do?
I've no doubt that Corbett and Manning are looking for you. You make it easy for them to catch you.
Catch me, but they'll...
They won't do anything to you. They're interested in bigger fish. By showing just the right degree of reluctance and resistance, you can lead them here. After that, I'll take care of them. In my own manner.
Well, we're doing real great, Tom. 2 days since we started looking for Ford and not a sign of him.
Feather your jets, Roger. We'll find him. As a matter of fact, he'll come to us.
What makes you so sure?
Hourly transmissions are being made by telespeaker, asking all Solar Guard stations on Venus to be on the lookout for Ford. The revolutionary group he's tied up with is sure to intercept those transmissions.
So what?
So this. They'll send Ford to us.
You're space happy.
Not at all. They'll want to find out exactly how much we know before they get rid of us. They'll want to find out if the Solar Guard is preparing any kind of defense. And we'll be just the ones to tell them.
Go on, I still think you're space happy.
I am, eh? Well, I'll bet you a new uniform. That's Ford now.
It's a bet.
Okay. Open the door.
Furthermore, if it's Ford, I'll polish your boots for a year.
I'm looking for Cadet Corbett or Cadet Manning.
I'm Manning.
My name is Ford. I understand you've been looking for
Great,
me.
jolly.
Come in, Mr. Ford. I've been expecting you. Start reaching for that boot polish, Roger.
Okay.
You're Cadet Corbett?
That's right.
I came here to see if I could make a deal with you two.
What sort of a deal?
I've been mixed up in something pretty dangerous here on Venus. I'm not my own master. Because of my past, I'm forced to work for men who would stop at nothing.
Including getting rid of us.
Yes. You see, they want to take over this planet and establish a government of their own. I didn't bargain for that.
So you want out. Is that it?
I want my record cleared and all charges against me dropped. If you can arrange that, I'll identify all the leaders of this revolutionary movement.
Well, that isn't up to us.
But you'll put in a good word for me, won't you? You'll tell the Solar Guard I helped you?
Sure, if you do.
Fair enough. Now, we'll have to move fast. They plan to strike tonight against the atmosphere station.
How much time have we got?
Less than 2 hours.
Okay. I'll call headquarters and warn them right away.
No, not yet, Corbett.
Why not?
I don't know which station they're going to hit. And it would be foolish to concentrate a defense around one and have the enemy attack another.
That adds up, Tom. There aren't enough men to guard them all.
But still,
As soon as we find out which one is the target, you can contact headquarters by space radio. There'll still be time.
And we're wasting what little time we've got. Come on, Tom. On the ball.
Say, listen, Ford. How much farther do we have to go in this jet boat?
Be there in another minute, Corbett.
Hey, Tom, he's taking us pretty far away from Venusport, and we've only got 45 minutes left.
Yeah, I know, Roger.
Think he's on the level?
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to play along.
Where's he taking us, anyway?
The headquarters of the whole revolutionary movement.
Oh, yeah? What are we going to do there? Take on the whole bunch of them, the two of us?
No, we're just going in to see who the leaders are and find out where they're going to attack first. Then we contact headquarters.
We're going in, huh? Just like that, I suppose. Maybe they'll invite us to have tea.
Now, wait a minute, will you? We'll be wearing spacesuits. Everyone will look alike.
Oh, why didn't you say so?
Corbett, Manning, better put your suits on now. You're going to land.
Right. Hurry up, Roger.
Yeah, all the time, hurry. One of these days, we're going to hurry ourselves right into the grave.
Some installation here. All those characters outside are armed to the teeth.
Yes, with heat rays. Once those men are turned loose against the atmosphere stations...
You don't have to say it, Tom. The crews won't have a chance unless we warn them in time.
Down this tunnel now, Corbett.
We're right behind you, Ford.
When are we going to catch up to the leaders of this mob?
The inner chamber where the final plans for attack are being made is down at the end of this tunnel. I'll take you into the chamber next to it, and you'll be able to hear everything there.
Good.
As soon as we get the information we need, we'll beat it back to the jet boat and alert headquarters.
Yes, that is the best plan, Corbett.
Hey, Tom, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be something if we brought in the leaders ourselves?
Now, don't get any big ideas, pal. One thing at a time.
Okay, it was just an idea.
Hey, get a load of these pipes along the tunnel. They look familiar to you?
Oh, yeah, just like the pipes at the atmosphere stations, the ones that carried liquid oxygen.
This installation is a small-scale atmosphere station. The leaders planned well. When they knock out the ones on the surface, they'll be protected down here.
Oh, brother, what an operation.
Quietly now. That portal at the end of the tunnel opens into the main chamber where the meeting is taking place. You two go in here. Wait, I'll open the portal.
Hey, pretty dark in there.
I'll switch on the light as soon as we're inside. Go on now.
Come on, Tom. Let's get this over with. Which way, Ford?
Just stand where you are, Corbett.
Hey, who's that?
There. You recognize me in the light, Manning?
Deegan. What in the universe are you doing here?
This is where I belong, Manning. And I must say, you don't look very surprised, Corbett.
Frankly, Deegan, I'm not.
Hey, will somebody please tell me what gives around here?
That's pretty simple, Roger. Our friend Nestor Deegan is the real leader of the revolution.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Say, spaceman, do you want a cereal that helps you to build strong bones and muscles? You want a cereal that gives you food energy for a quick morning blast-off? Well, then, you want Kellogg's Pep. Yes, sir. That's the super space cereal that's a breakfast-time favorite from here to Neptune. And, mister, the first time you sit down to a bowl full of Kellogg's Pep, you'll know why. What a flavor. Why you won't settle for less than second helpings. And just remember, at the same time you're enjoying the taste of Pep, you'll be taking on Sunshine Vitamin D and Vitamin B1. You'll be taking on top-notch food energy, too. Food energy to help you blast off for a busy day. All the cadets here at Space Academy eat plenty of Kellogg's Pep every morning. So, if you want to start your day the way Tom, Astro, Roger, and all the fellas do, you eat Pep, too. Ask your mom to start serving Kellogg's Pep tomorrow morning. Rustle lots of Pep into your cereal bowl. Pour on the milk. Sprinkle some sugar, and dig in. When you taste Pep, you want to start every day the spaceman's way with Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Led into the secret headquarters of the revolutionary movement on Venus, Tom and Roger find Nestor Deegan waiting for them triumphantly. But Tom shows little surprise, and as he holds them at the point of a heat ray gun, Deegan questions the cadets.
So you knew I was the leader of the revolution, eh, Corbett?
I didn't know that, but I was sure you were tied up in it somehow.
You're very well informed. Who talked?
You did, Deegan.
Me?
Yes, back in Alexandra Stone's compartment on the passenger ship. When you told us you were guarding Barton Reed.
Well?
You said you didn't know of his plans to switch uniforms with Roger, which meant that you really did know, because nobody ever mentioned that to you or anybody else. You just kept toying with us, helping us search Alexandra Stone's compartment to find out if she left any clues behind.
Hey, that's right. You were the only one who knew we were going to Atmosphere Station 5, and that's where Ford tried to get us.
Well, very clever of you boys.
But if they knew all this, why did they come here with me?
To nail everything down, get proof.
And what are you going to do with it?
I don't have to do anything. Captain Bridges and a detachment of the Solar Guard will be here in 10 minutes to clean out this nest of rats.
What? Oh, did anyone follow you?
No, I swear.
You're wrong, pal. You were followed by tracer beam. Here. You see this belt communicator? It's wide open, sending out a steady signal. You hear? Captain Bridges has been following this signal with his tracer. He knows exactly where we are.
Ford, get that. Destroy it.
Yes, sir. There.
Thanks, Ford. You just gave the final signal.
What do you mean?
The minute the signal stopped, Captain Bridges knew that we were at your headquarters. So now he'll close in.
Why, you...
Sir, we've got to get out of here.
All right. Stand over there against that wall, both of you.
What are you going to do?
You'll find out. Now stay there.
Sure, Deegan. We've got all the time in the world.
No, you haven't, Corbett. Ford.
Yes, sir.
I want you to get every man out of here. Tell the unit commander to begin the attack.
But it's not time.
Tom, we gotta do something fast. Deegan's sure to burn us down with that heat ray of his.
I know. Now get this. There's an oxygen pipe connection right behind me.
So?
I'm opening it.
Great galaxy.
Shut up and listen. The stuff is leaking out right now, and it'll turn to vapor fast. When Deegan fires that ray, the oxygen will ignite. There'll be an explosion.
And what happens to us?
We'll have to take our chances. And we'll have to move fast to duck that ray. Now drop when he fires.
Okay.
Let me know when you're finished, huh? All right, now, you two.
Get ready.
Your interference has endangered my plans, but if I move fast enough, there's a chance for success.
Not much, Junior.
You certainly won't know about it. Hey, what's that noise?
I don't hear anything.
The oxygen. You've opened the valve. Why, you...
Look, Roger!
I'll fry you.
Stay down, Roger! Stay down! The oxygen is igniting! No!
Well, cadets, looks like you both had real spaceman's luck.
I'll say we did, Captain Bridges.
Just a few burns, that's all. Deegan really got the full force of the blast.
Will he pull through, sir?
Yes, although I'm sure he'd rather not. Life on the prison asteroid is no bed of roses. Oh, by the way, I got an audiogram from Commander Arkwright.
Uh-oh, I'm afraid of this.
How many demerits do we get?
Well, in view of what you did, he's willing to forget the whole thing.
Is that all? No medals?
Medals?
Roger, I'll settle for this any time.
Not me. Why, after all the detective work I put in...
You put in?
Sure. Didn't I tell you back at the beginning that Deegan was our man? But no, you wouldn't listen to me. I talk and talk, but you never even...
Cadet Manning.
Yes, sir?
Haven't you wondered why Corbett never told you about using the tracer beam to locate Deegan's headquarters?
Yeah, I have.
It's just because you talk and talk. So suppose you do something about your mouth right now, eh?
Yeah, Roger. Like cramming the other foot into it, too.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris receives sudden orders to blast off for Titan to take part in a mission of mercy. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Peter Capell, and William Keane. Today's program was written by Elwood Hoffman, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program came to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Tired out from spring house cleaning? Find your life uninteresting? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. You are drifting on the burning glassy surface of a tropical sea, trapped on a flimsy raft, with 3 murderous companions from whom you cannot escape. Escape, designed to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Tonight, at your request, we bring back one of our most popular escape stories. We take you to Noumea in the South Pacific, a French penal colony as notorious as Devil's Island. And we invite you to escape from Noumea in John Russell's The Fourth Man. The raft stood to open sea. A mat of pandanus leaves served for its sail, and a paddle of wood for its helm. Its flooring was woven of reeds and bamboo sticks and rested on triple rows of bladders. It was light, elastic, fit to ride any weather, and it carried 4 men. 3 of them sat huddled together at the far end. Their bodies were blackened with dried blood. The hair upon them was long and matted. They wore only the rags of convicts' blue canvas uniforms. On wrists and ankle they carried their mark, the dark and wrinkled stain of the manacles. There was Lugoz, doctor, leader, man of the world, murderer.
Friend, the thing is done.
And Fenerou, forger, ladies' man, weakling, coward.
Yes, we got away, all right.
And the one known as the Parrot, thief and cutthroat.
So far, so good. Gentlemen, by way of celebration, may I offer you cigarettes?
Cigarettes? Oh, Doctor, you're a marvel, a magician. Look at them. White and fresh as though they just came from the package.
How did you do it? Every 6 months, there are about 75 escapes from Namibia. And not more than one succeeds. Ours would be that one, I knew. And so, 3 weeks ago, I bribed the night guard for these very cigarettes, so that we might sit here, my friends, as we are doing, and celebrate. I want to light. Yes, light for the parrot.
Oh, our doctor is a wonder. He thinks of everything. He gives us cigarettes, matches, and our freedom.
Wait till you've got your 2 feet on a pavement again. That will be the time to talk about freedom.
To wear starched collars again. To stroll with a girl, clean and fresh from her bath, down the Place de la Concorde, the Rue de Rivoli.
Suppose we get a storm. It's not the season of storms. Just the same, suppose we get a storm. Very my friend, you must not be so impatient. We were convicts back there, festering in oblivion. And now we stand on the rosy threshold of the big round world again. We are men raised from the dead. Suppose we get a storm. You have got a gift of speech, but where's the ship that was going to meet us here? This is the day as agreed. It will meet us. This wind will blow us to China if we keep on. We can't lie any closer to shore. There's a government launch at Torreon, and I doubt if the native trackers have given up.
Oh, careful, Parrot. They will eat you yet.
I've heard about that. Is it true, Doctor, that the natives keep all the runaways they can capture to fatten on them? They prefer the reward. Still, I doubt if they've entirely lost the habit of cannibalism.
Yes, piece by piece, Parrot. First they will sample you, then they will make a stew of your brains. They won't miss a thing.
Shut up, Fenahou! You filthy brutes.
You know, I forgot. We have one of them with us.
The fourth man was steering the raft. He sat crouched in the stern, his body glistening with spray. His huge dark hands held the steering paddle. He was motionless like an idol, his eyes fixed on the course ahead. The fourth man on the raft.
My friends, you are looking at a Kanaka. You will see nothing superior. No line of beauty to redeem the low angle of the forehead, the knobby joints of the body. Nature has stamped him with the mark of inferiority. And he has set the final seal himself with that twist of bark about his middle, that prong of pig ivory through his nose.
Nonetheless, he is a man, and there is a price on our heads. He could be taking us where he lies.
Calm yourself, Fenahou. It is a very simple animal. An infant, really. Does that mean he could not double-cross us? It does. He's bound by his duty. I made my bargain with his chief up the river. And this one is sent to deliver us on board our ship. That's the only interest he has in us.
And he will do it?
He will. It is the nature of the native.
I don't trust him. Not for a minute.
The brute. The animal. You! It's you I'm talking about, you filthy brute! Parrot! Save your breath, Parrot. He speaks no language, only a few noises, a few signs. I don't feel right on the same raft with that.
Go on, burn yourself up in this sun. Me, I will just stretch out a little under these mats.
Yes. We should all sleep a little, conserve ourselves. When we awake, she'll be there, the ship, our pretty little topsail schooner, her mast standing out against the sky. And we'll be on our way to France. Sleep, my friend.
The two younger convicts dozed under the heat of the day, but not Dr. Dubose. He stood once again to sweep the skyline under his shaded hand. His plan had been so careful, so precise. He had counted absolutely on meeting the ship, the small schooner. One of those flitting, half-piratical traders of the Copra Islands that can be hired like cabs in a dark street for any sinister enterprise. But there was no ship, and there was no crossroads where one might sit and wait.
Good morning, Doctor.
It's afternoon, Ferrero.
Oh, yes, it is. I slept like a corpse.
And where's the ship, Doctor? It was going to be there when we awoke.
Oh, I'm thirsty. I'm dying of thirst.
So are we all, Ferrero.
Where is the flask? Oh, I'm roasting in the sun.
You have to roast some more. This crew is put on rations. What are you talking about? Where is that water? I have it here. So you have. Do you think it's yours? It's ours, Parrot. I want a drink. Think a little, Parrot. We have to guard our supplies like reasonable men. We don't know how long we may be floating here.
So, that's how you talk now. You don't know how long. But you were sure enough when we started.
I am still sure. The ship will come. She can't stay for us in one spot. She will be cruising to and fro until she intercepts us. We must wait.
Ah, that's good. Wait. And in the meantime, what? Right here in this heat? Our tongues hanging out while you get us out drop by drop?
Perhaps.
No! The man does not live who can feed me with a spoon. Spoon? That's no scum! But you're in this too, with this captain who thinks of everything and still puts to sea without provisions. Go on. Laugh again. Laugh.
I wasn't laughing, Parrot. It's true. A bad piece of work for a captain of runaways.
Unless you would die very speedily, we must guard our water.
And whose fault is it? Mine, I did it.
What then? Here we are, and here we must stay. We can only do our best with what we have.
All right, Doctor. Do your best. Give me a drink.
You may have your share, of course. But be warned. When it is gone, don't come to us. To Fenero and me.
Oh, what's fair?
My drink! A thimbleful? One thimble?
This way we should have enough for 3 days. Perhaps more. With equal shares among the three of us.
That's right. There are only 3 of us.
Were you thinking of him, Fenero? Of our pilot? He looks somewhat like us, doesn't he? But his body has never known clothing. His feet, shoes. His heart has never known the swelling that comes with feelings of love or beauty. His mind has never known a single thought. Look at us 3 gentlemen. You, Fenero, a forger. You, Parrot, a thief. I, the Gibons of Paris and Marseille, a murderer. And yet we are civilized men. This is a savage animal. Our provisions are for men only.
The 3 men awoke to their second day on the raft. They looked and saw the far round horizon and the empty desert of the sea, and their own long shadows that slipped slowly before them over its smooth, slow heaving. The land had sunk away from them in the night. The trap had been sprung. As the savage sun kindled upon them with the power of a burning glass, a calm fell, an absolute calm. The air hung, waited. The sea heaved and fell in polished undulations, and the sun shone, driving in under their eyelids like white-hot splinters. They crawled to the shelter of their mats, gasping, shriveling. And the water, the world of water, was slack and thick as oil.
Oh, mon Dieu. How lonely it is.
Dr. Gibons.
Yes, Parrot.
Look around you.
What do you mean?
Go on, look around. What do you see?
I see water, Parrot, the horizon, nothing nothing else.
What? Don't you see a ship? A pretty little schooner? Those were your words. Well, where is it? Why don't you see it?
It will come.
Will it come for us to be dead when it comes?
Doctor, you say that you count on your friends, but suppose they leave you to rot here. Leave Barrett and me to rot here. That would be a joke, eh, Doctor? To wait for a ship that will never come.
It will come. My friends will not fail me.
But why? How do you know? How can you be so sure?
There is a safety vault in Paris, full of papers to be opened at my death. Those papers contain confessions. No, gentlemen, my friends will not fail me. Parrot. A moment ago you asked what I saw.
Well?
There was something I neglected.
What was that?
I see a Kanaka on this raft with us. He does not join us. He does not look at us. He sits on his heels in the way of the native, with his arms hugging his knees. He sits at the stern, motionless under the shuddering sun, gazing out into vacancy. Whenever I raise my eyes, I see nothing else. Only this Kanaka.
And he seems to be enjoying himself quite well.
I was thinking so myself.
The terrible, the savage.
He does not seem to suffer.
What's going on in his brain? What does he dream there? He looks at us as though he hates us.
The dirty rat.
Maybe he's waiting for us to die. Maybe he's waiting for the reward. At least he wouldn't starve on the way home, and he could deliver us piece by piece.
How does he do it? Has he not any feelings?
I've been wondering about that. It may be that his fibers are tougher, his nerves
but
are
we
stronger
have had
enough.
water, and he has not.
And yet, see, his skin, it's fresh and moist.
And his belly round as a melon. Don't tell me this savage is thirsty. Is there any way he could steal our supplies?
Certainly not.
Suppose he has his own supplies hidden.
What?
We see. Search the raft.
Look.
Under the mat.
I heard him this morning here.
Did you hear?
No, there.
Doctor. Over there. Oh,
no. No.
You're mistaken. He has nothing hidden.
You're wrong about him, Doctor, when you say he has no understanding. There is one thing he knows, and knows well. Pain.
God hit him! No, not so much.
There, come! That will fit you! Not so cheerful now, are you? Not so happy with your love. That will make you feel.
A higher race tramples the savage, with or without cause. And that is natural. And the savage creeps away into his place, with his hurts and his wrongs, and makes no sign and strikes no blow. And that is natural, too.
Yes, that is all very well, Doctor. But we still must have our pilot.
Come back, my friends, back under the mats. The glare of the sun is not so bad there.
So the days dragged by, the second and the third, and now it was the fourth day. And still there was no breeze, and still there was no ship.
Doctor?
Yes?
What do you stare at?
It's him, the savage. Look at him, and look at us. We are dying, our powers are ebbing.
And him?
He's naked, wild, brutish. He's yet to give the slightest sign of complaint or weakness.
Yes, it's true.
At night he stretches out and sleeps. Those long hours when we wrestle and fight with despair, he sleeps like a child. Then in the morning he resumes his place aft, unchanged, fixed, a growing wonder.
Doctor, is this a man or a fiend?
A man is man.
A miracle.
A man and a very poor and wretched example of a man. You will find no lower type anywhere. Look at his cranial angle, the high ears, the heavy bones of his skull. He's scarcely above an ape. Then what? He has a secret. Secret?
But we see him. Every move he makes, every minute. What chance has he for a secret?
How absurd. Here are we three, children of the century, products of civilization. And here is this man who belongs before the Stone Age. In a set trial of fitness, of wits, and resources, is he to win? Absurd.
What kind of secret?
I can't say. Perhaps some method of breathing, some strange posture he uses to cheat the sensations of the body. Such things are known among primitive peoples, known and jealously guarded, like the properties of certain drugs, the uses of hypnotism. Who knows?
We can know. We can find out.
To ask him, useless. He will not tell. Why should he? We scorn him. We give him no share with us. We abuse him. And so he falls back on his own expedience. He remains silent as he always has been, as he always will be. He never tells the secrets. They are the means by which he has survived from the depths of time, by which he may yet survive when all our wisdom is dust.
There are a number of ways of learning secrets. I know them all.
Power. It would be useless. He could stand any torture you might invent. You saw how he behaved before. No, it's not the way.
Talk! I'm tired of all this talk. Kill him and throw him over. Let's be rid of this thing.
We gain nothing.
Then what do you want?
To beat him. That's what I want. To beat him at the game. For our own sakes, for our own racial pride. We must. To outlast him. To prove ourselves his masters. By better brain. By better organization and control. Watch him, my friends, so that we may trap him, so that we may find him out and defeat him in the end.
Watch. I will watch, all right, you old windbag. I am not sleeping anymore to leave you alone with that bottle.
The bottle. Oh, the bottle. I've been meaning to discuss our rations with you.
Have you?
We are running very short. I'm afraid we must all take a cut again.
And what are we down to now, Doctor?
Half a thimbleful.
No.
We must keep our weight.
I say no!
Then we'll put it to a vote. You say no, I say yes. Then they're all...
Yes, anything. What? Give me mine now.
Then it's half a thimbleful for Monsieur Fenello. Your share, Fenello.
More, or I'll die. More.
No more today.
You must. Oh, Doctor.
No more today.
Look! A ship! Where is it? The bottle, Doctor! Here's the bottle! He's right.
Lucas, you killed him with that oar.
What about the bottle?
There's some left. You caught him just in time.
And you got the bottle just in time.
Seems I did.
And there's no ship. There will be no ship. We are done. Because of you and your dirty promises that brought us here. Doctor. Liar. Fool.
Don't come any closer. If you want this flask broken over your head.
No. I would not want that.
All right. Just think. Why should you and I fight? We can see this trouble through and win yet. This weather can't last forever. Besides, now here would be only two of us to divide the water. Yes?
Yes. That is true, is it not? Fenarou kindly leaves us his share. An inheritance. All right. I'll take mine now. My share now, if you please. Later we shall see.
So be it. Your share.
Many thanks. And now, Fenarou share. To me, please.
As you say.
now. Another good doctor. 3. That's enough, Parrot. No, doctor. It is not enough. Now, I will take your arm. Stop! Your arm. I will kill you if you don't. Thank you. You see, I have manners, haven't I? And I have wisdom, too. Because I have proved a very wise man. I toast you, Doctor. The best man wins. This was a very bright idea of yours. The best... Oh. Best man wins. You forgot I am a doctor, didn't you? The water you killed for has killed you. A man cannot go without water for 4 days and drink his fill and still live. Go on, Parrot. Gasp out your worthless life while I laugh. The best man always wins, Parrot. The best man always... So, the best man wins. Yes, Doctor. Forgot my knife, didn't you? Forgot me, lying at your feet, while you divided my share of the water. Gave me up for dead, did you? But I, Fenero, will outlast the two of you. Fenero, the best man always wins. What? Running out.
Well, where are they, the passengers?
We're too late. All dead.
Will you mind your business?
But one is stabbed to death, another is skull crushed, another fried by the sun. All dead.
Well, then, all the better. That'll cost nothing to feed.
But how...
Hogsheads, my friend, the hogsheads in the afterhold. Filled them nicely with brine, and there we are.
I don't understand.
You're dull, Monto, very dull. The gentleman's passage is all paid before we left Sydney. I contracted to bring back 3 escaped convicts. Well, I'll bring them back in pickle. So if you'll go back, Monto, and bring them aboard for the trip, I'll be much obliged.
Very well. Oh, there's a 4th man in the raft, Captain. A Kanaka. Still alive. What do we do with him?
A Kanaka? No word in my contract about any Kanakas. Leave him there. After all, he's only a savage.
And so Dr. DuBose and Fenero and the Parrot went aboard for a long trip to their beloved Paris, their bodies pitching and rolling gently in the huge vats of brine. On the raft, the 4th man raised his head slightly as a wind freshened from the west. He watched until the schooner turned, shaping away for Australia, and disappeared over the rim of the horizon. Then he turned his raft, spread his sail of pandanus leaves, and headed the raft eastward, back to toward New Caledonia, back toward home. Feeling somewhat dry after his exertion, the native plucked a hollow reed at random from the rushes on his raft. Slowly, lazily, he stretched himself at full length in his accustomed place at the stern. He thrust the reed down into one of the bladders underneath the raft and drank his fill of sweet water. He had a dozen such storage bladders remaining, built into the floats at intervals above the waterline, quite enough to last him safely home again.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, and tonight brought you The Fourth Man by John Russell, adapted for radio by Irving Ravitch, and featuring Barry Kroger as the Doctor, Joseph Kearns as Veneru, Jay Novello as Parrot, Lou Merrill as the Captain, Byron Kane as Morteau, and Eric Rolfe as the narrator. Music is conceived by Cy Feuer and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Next week.
You are groping in the dark of an African night, trapped on a dock above a crocodile-infested river, fighting for your life against a ruthless giant from whom you must escape.
Next week, we escape with Robert Simpson's 10th story, John Jock Todd. Good night, then, until the same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Tired out from spring house cleaning, find your life uninteresting, want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. You are drifting on the burning glassy surface of a tropical sea, trapped on a flimsy raft, with 3 murderous companions from whom you cannot escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, at your request, we bring back one of our most popular escape stories. We take you to Noumea in the South Pacific, a French penal colony as notorious as Devil's Island. And we invite you to escape from Noumea in John Russell's The Fourth Man.
The raft stood to open sea. A mat of pandanus leaves served for its sail, and a paddle of wood for its helm. Its flooring was woven of reeds and bamboo sticks and rested on triple rows of bladders. It was light, elastic, fit to ride any weather, and it carried 4 men. 3 of them sat huddled together at the far end. Their bodies were blackened with dried blood. The hair upon them was long and matted. They wore only the rags of convicts' blue canvas uniforms. On wrists and ankle they carried their mark, the dark and wrinkled stain of the manacles. There was Dubose, doctor, leader, man of the world, murderer.
Friend, the thing is done.
And Feneru, forger, ladies' man, weakling, coward.
Yes, we got away, all right.
and the one known as the Parrot, thief, and cutthroat.
So far, so good. Gentlemen, by way of celebration, may I offer you cigarettes?
Cigarettes? Oh, Doctor, you're a marvel, a magician. Look at them. White and fresh as though they just came from the package.
How did you do it? Every 6 months, there are about 75 escapes from Namia, and not more than one succeeds. Ours would be that one, I knew. And so, 3 weeks ago, I bribed the night guard for these very cigarettes, so that we might sit here, my friends, as we are doing, and celebrate. I want a light. Yes, a light for the Parrot.
Oh, our doctor is a wonder. He thinks of everything. He gives us cigarettes, matches, and our freedom.
Wait till you've got your 2 feet on a pavement again. That would be the time to talk about freedom.
To wear starched collars again. To stroll with a girl, clean and fresh from her bath, down the Place de la Concorde, the Rue de Rivoli.
Suppose we get a storm. It's not the season of storms. Just the same, suppose we get a storm. Very okay, my friend. You must not be so impatient. We were convicts back there, festering in oblivion. And now we stand on the rosy threshold of the big round world again. We are men raised from the dead.
Suppose we get a storm. You have got a gift of speech, but where's the ship that was going to meet us here?
This is the day as agreed. It will meet us.
This wind will blow us to China if we keep on.
We can't lie any closer to shore. There's a government launch at Torreon, and I doubt if the native trackers have given up.
Oh, careful, Parrot. They will eat you yet.
I've heard about that. Is it true, Doctor, that the natives keep all the runaways they can capture to fatten on them?
They prefer the reward. Still, I doubt if they've entirely lost the habit of cannibalism.
Yes, piece by piece, Parrot. First they will sample you, then they will make a stew of your brains. They won't miss a thing.
Shut up, Fenarou! You filthy brutes.
You know, I forgot. We have one of them with us.
The fourth man was steering the raft. He sat crouched in the stern, his body glistening with spray. His huge dark hands held the steering paddle. He was motionless like an idol, his eyes fixed on the course ahead. The fourth man on the raft.
My friends, you are looking at a Kanaka. You will see nothing superior. No line of beauty to redeem the low angle of the forehead, the knobby joints of the body. Nature has stamped him with the mark of inferiority. And he has set the final seal himself with that twist of bark about his middle, and that prong of pig ivory through his nose.
Nonetheless, he is a man, and there is a price on our heads. He could be taking us where he lied.
Calm yourself, Fenarou. It is a very simple animal. An infant, really.
Does that mean he could not double-cross us?
It does. He is bound by his duty. I made my bargain with his chief up the river. And this one is sent to deliver us on board our ship. That's the only interest he has in us.
And he will do it?
He will. It is the nature of the native.
I don't trust him. Not for a minute.
The brute. The animal. You! It's you I'm talking about, you filthy brute!
Parrot! Save your breath, Parrot. He speaks no language, only a few noises, a few signs.
I don't feel right on the same raft with that.
Go on, burn yourself up in this sun. Me, I will just stretch out a little under these mats.
Yes. We should all sleep a little, conserve ourselves. When we awake, she'll be there, the ship, our pretty little topsail schooner, our mast standing out against the sky. And we'll be on our way to France. Sleep, my friend.
The two younger convicts dozed under the heat of the day, but not Dr. DeBoers. He stood once again to sweep the skyline under his shaded hand. His plan had been so careful, so precise. He had counted absolutely on meeting the ship, the small schooner.
One of those flitting, half-piratical traders of the Copra Islands that can be hired like cabs in a dark street for any sinister enterprise. But there was no ship, and there was no crossroads where one might sit and wait.
Good morning, Doctor.
It's afternoon, Canero.
Oh, yes, it is. I slept like a corpse.
And where's the ship, Doctor? It was going to be there when we awoke.
Oh, I'm thirsty. I'm dying of thirst.
So are we all, Canero.
Where is the flask? Oh, I'm roasting in the sun.
You have to roast some more. This crew is put on rations.
What are you talking about? Where is that water?
I have it here.
So you have. Do you think it's yours?
It's ours, Parrot.
I want a drink.
Think a little, Parrot. We have to guard our supplies like reasonable men. We don't know how long we may be floating here.
So, that's how you talk now. You don't know how long, but you were sure enough when we started.
I am still sure. The ship will come. She can't stay for us in one spot. She will be cruising to and fro until she intercepts ours. We must wait.
Ah, that's good. Wait. And in the meantime, what? Right here in this heat? Our tongues hanging out while you did us out drop by drop?
Perhaps.
No! The man does not live who can feed me with a spoon.
With a spoon?
Laugh, no scum! But you're in this too, with this captain who thinks of everything and still puts to sea without provisions. Go on. Laugh again. Laugh.
I wasn't laughing, Parrot. It's true. A bad piece of work for a captain of runaways.
Unless you would die very speedily, we must guard our water.
And whose fault is it? Mine, I did it.
What then? Here we are, and here we must stay. We can only do our best with what we have.
All right, Doctor. Do your best. Give me a drink.
You may have your share, of course. But we won't. When it is gone, don't come to us. To Fenero and me.
Oh, what's fair?
My drink! A thimbleful? One thimble?
This way we should have enough for 3 days. Perhaps more. With equal shares among the three of us.
That's right. There are only 3 of us.
Well, you're thinking of him, Fenero, of our pilot. He looks somewhat like us, doesn't he? But his body has never known clothing. His feet, shoes. His heart has never known the swelling that comes with feelings of love or beauty. His mind has never known a single thought. Look at those 3 gentlemen. You, Fenero, a forger. You, Parrot, a thief. I, the Gibbons of Paris and Marseille, a murderer. And yet we are civilized men. This is a savage animal. Our provisions are for men only.
The 3 men awoke to their second day on the raft. They looked and saw the far round horizon and the empty desert of the sea, and their own long shadows that slipped slowly before them over its smooth, slow heaving. The land had sunk away from them in the night. The trap had been sprung. As the savage sun kindled upon them with the power of a burning glass, a calm fell, an absolute calm. The air hung, waited. The sea heaved and fell in polished undulations, and the sun shone, driving in under their eyelids like white-hot splinters. They crawled to the shelter of their mats, gasping, shriveling. And the water, the world of water, was slack and thick as oil.
Oh, mon Dieu. How lonely it is.
Dr. Gibbons.
Yes, Parrot.
Look around you.
What do you mean?
Go on, look around. What do you see?
I see water, Parrot. The horizon, nothing else.
What? Don't you see a ship? A pretty little schooner? Those were your words. Well, where is it? Why don't you see it?
It will come.
Will it come for us to be dead when it comes?
Doctor, you say that you count on your friends, but suppose they leave you to rot here. Leave Barrett and me to rot here. That would be a joke, Doctor? To wait for a ship that will never come.
It will come. My friends will not fail me.
But why? How do you know? How can you be so sure?
There is a safety vault in Paris, full of papers to be opened at my death. Those papers contain confessions. No, gentlemen, my friends will not fail me. Parrot, a moment ago you asked what I saw.
Well?
There was something I neglected.
What was that?
I see a Kanaka on this raft with us. He does not join us. He does not look at us. He sits on his heels in the way of the native, with his arms hugging his knees. He sits at the stern, motionless under the shuddering sun, gazing out into vacancy. Whenever I raise my eyes, I see nothing else. Only this Kanaka.
And he seems to be enjoying himself quite well.
I was thinking so myself.
The terrible, the savage.
He does not seem to suffer.
What's going on in his brain? What does he dream there? He looks at us as though he hates us.
The dirty rat.
Maybe he's waiting for us to die. Maybe he's waiting for the reward. At least he wouldn't starve on the way home, and he could deliver us piece by piece.
How does he do it? Has he not any feelings?
I've been wondering about that. It may be that his fibers are tougher, his nerves
but
are
we
strong
have had
enough.
water, and he has not.
And yet, see, his skin, it's fresh and moist.
And his belly round as a melon. Don't tell me this savage is thirsty. Is there any way he could steal our supplies?
Certainly not.
Suppose he has his own supplies hidden.
What?
We see. Search the raft.
Look.
No.
Under the mat.
I heard him this morning here.
Did you
No, nothing. No, there. Doctor. Okay. Over there. Oh,
No.
No.
You are mistaken. He has nothing hidden.
You're wrong about him, Doctor, when you say he has no understanding. There is one thing he knows, and knows well. Pain.
God hit him! No, not so much.
There, come! That will fit you! Not so cheerful now, are you? Not so happy with your luck. That will make you feel.
A higher race tramples the savage, with or without cause. And that is natural. And the savage creeps away into his place, with his hurts and his wrongs, and makes no sign and strikes no blow. And that is natural, too.
Yes, that is all very well, Doctor. But we still must have our pilot.
Come back, my friends, back under the mats. The glare of the sun is not so bad.
So the days dragged by, the second and the third, and now it was the fourth day. And still there was no breeze, and still there was no ship.
Doctor?
Yes?
What do you stare at?
It's him, the savage. Look at him, and look at us. We are dying. Our powers are ebbing.
And him?
He's naked, wild, brutish. He's yet to give the slightest sign of complaint or weakness. At night he stretches out and sleeps. Those long hours when we wrestle and fight with despair, he sleeps like a child. Then in the morning he resumes his place aft, unchanged, fixed, a growing wonder.
Doctor, is this a man or a fiend?
A man, it's man.
A miracle.
A man, and a very poor and wretched example of a man. You will find no lower type anywhere. Look at his cranial angle, the high ears, the heavy bones of his skull. He's scarcely above an ape. Then what? He has a secret. Secret?
But we see him. Every move he makes, every minute. What chance has he for a secret?
How absurd. Here are we three, children of the century, products of civilization. And here is this man who belongs before the Stone Age. In a set trial of fitness, of wits, and resources, is he to win? Absurd.
What kind of secret?
I can't say. Perhaps some method of breathing, some strange posture he uses to cheat the sensations of the body. Such things are known among primitive peoples, known and jealously guarded, like the properties of certain drugs, the uses of hypnotism. Who knows?
We can know. We can find out.
To ask him, useless. He will not tell. Why should he? We scorn him. We give him no share with us. We abuse him. And so he falls back on his own experience. He remains silent as he always has been, as he always will be. He never tells the secrets. They are the means by which he has survived from the depths of time, by which he may yet survive when all our wisdom is dust.
There are a number of ways of learning secrets. I know them all.
Power. It would be useless. He could stand any torture you might invent. You saw how he behaved before. No, it's not the way.
Talk! I'm tired of all this talk. Kill him and throw him over. Let's be rid of this thing.
We gain nothing.
Then what do you want?
To beat him. That's what I want. To beat him at the game. For our own sakes, for our own racial pride. We must. To outlast him. To prove ourselves his masters. By better brain. By better organization and control. Watch him, my friends, so that we may trap him, so that we may find him out and defeat him in the end.
Watch. I will watch, all right, you old windbag. I am not sleeping anymore to leave you alone with that bottle.
The bottle. Oh, the bottle. I've been meaning to discuss our rations with you.
Have you?
We are running very short. I'm afraid we must all take a cut again.
And what are we down to now, Doctor?
Half a thimbleful.
No.
We must keep our wheat.
I say no!
Then we'll put it to a vote. You say no, I say yes. Then the room.
Yes, anything. But give me mine now.
Then it's half a thimbleful for Monsieur Fenelero. Your share, Fenelero.
More, or I'll die. More.
No more today.
You must. Oh, Doctor.
No more today.
Look! A ship! Where is it? The bottle, Doctor!
What?
Here's the bottle! He's right.
Lucas, you killed him with that oar.
What about the bottle?
There's some left. You caught him just in time.
And you got the bottle just in time.
Seems I did.
And there's no ship. There will be no ship. We are done because of you and your dirty promises that brought us here. Doctor, liar, fool.
Don't come any closer. If you want this flask broken over your head.
No, I would not want that.
Barrett, just think. Why should you and I fight? We can see this trouble through and win yet. This weather can't last forever. Besides, now here will be only two of us to divide the water. Yes?
Yes. That is true, is it not? Fenelero kindly leaves us his share. An inheritance. All right. I'll take mine now. My share now, if you please. Later we shall see. So be it. Your share. Many thanks. And now, Fenero's share. To me, please.
As you say.
Now, another good doctor. 3. That's enough, Parrot. No, doctor. It's not enough. Now, I will take your arm. Stop! Stop! Your arm. I will kill you if you don't. Thank you. You see, I have manners, haven't I? And I have wisdom, too. Because I have proved a very wise man. I toast you, Doctor. The best man wins. It was a very bright idea of yours. The best... Oh. Best man wins. You forgot I am a doctor, didn't you? The water you killed for has killed you. A man cannot go without water for 4 days and drink his fill and still live. Go on, Cadet. Gasp out your worthless life while I laugh. The best man always wins, Parrot. The best man always...
So, the best man wins. Yes, Doctor. Forgot my knife, didn't you? Forgot me, lying at your feet, while you divided my share of the water. Gave me up for dead, did you? But I, Fenero, will outlast the 2 of you. Fenero, the best man, always wins.
What? Running out.
Well, where are they, the passengers?
We're too late. All dead.
Will you mind your business?
But one is stabbed to death. Another is skull crushed. Another fried by the sun. All dead.
Well, then, all the better. Of course, nothing to feed.
But how...
Hogsheads, my friend. The hogsheads in the afterhold. Filled them nicely with brine, and there we are.
I don't understand.
You're dull, Mato, very dull. The gentleman's passage is all paid before we left Sydney. I contracted to bring back 3 escaped convicts. Well, I'll bring them back in pickle. So if you'll go back, Mato, and bring them aboard for the trip, I'll be much obliged.
Very well. Oh, there's a 4th man in the raft, Captain. A Kanaka. Still alive. What do we do with him?
A Kanaka? No word in my contract about any Kanakas. Leave him there. After all, he's only a savage.
And so Dr. DuBose and Fenero and the Parrot went aboard for the long trip to their beloved Paris, their bodies pitching and rolling gently in the huge vats of brine. On the raft, the 4th man raised his head slightly as a wind freshened from the west. He watched until the schooner turned, shaping away for Australia, and disappeared over the rim of the horizon. Then he turned his raft, spread his sail of pandanus leaves, and headed the raft eastward
back toward New Caledonia, back toward home. Feeling somewhat dry after his exertion, the native plucked a hollow reed at random from the rushes on his raft. Slowly, lazily, he stretched himself at full length in his accustomed place at the stern. He thrust the reed down into one of the bladders underneath the raft and drank his fill of sweet water. He had a dozen such storage bladders remaining, built into the floats at intervals above the waterline, quite enough to last him safely home again. Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, and tonight brought you The Fourth Man by John Russell, adapted for radio by Irving Ravitch, and featuring Barry Kroger as the Doctor, Joseph Kearns as Fenneru, Jay Novello as Parrot, Lou Merrill as the Captain, Byron Kane as Morteau, and Eric Rolfe as the narrator. Music is conceived by Cy Feuer and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Next week.
You are groping in the dark of an African night, trapped on a dock above a crocodile-infested river, fighting for your life against a ruthless giant from whom you must escape.
Next week, we escape with Robert Simpson's 10th story, John Jock Todd. Good night, then, until the same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.